A transcendent, who protected his nation for over 400 years, is secretly executed by the higher-ups right before his retirement. And the reason they do this is to satisfy the demands of the Outlanders. But what no one could have predicted is that I am reborn, back to the moment I just graduated from college. In my previous life, I wielded the source of light. Right before death, I unexpectedly broke through to the Fifth Order and activated the power of time reversal. This time, I will rise from a pawn to the one who moves the pieces. Never again will I let others control my fate. A long-forgotten ringtone goes off. I bolt upright, gasping for air. I stare at the clock on the wall and fall deep into thought. Year 2035 of the new era. I really have been reborn. Spirit seeds have already appeared by this point, but those with terrifying potential in the future, the most powerful spirit seeds, have not been claimed by anyone yet. So right now, I can freely choose the path I want to walk. Spirit seeds come in all shapes and forms, varying wildly in power. Once fused, it can never be changed. So I have already decided exactly which spirit seed I will fuse with in this life. Suddenly, the sound of a lock turning cuts through my thoughts. The girl who walks in is my cousin Stella, the only family I have left. Cole, haven't you been looking for a job lately? I saw a company hiring fresh graduates today. What do you think? Want to give it a shot? The word job snaps me back to reality. I suddenly remember what I am right now, a fresh college graduate. But in this life, working a 9 to 5? Not in this lifetime. Stella, some classmates and I already planned a trip for a few days. I will look for a job when I get back. That's fine, you barely went out during your 4 years of college. I will send you some money later, but you guys have to stay safe, okay? The next day at noon, I walk out of a lending company. With my current identity, 200,000 is the most I can squeeze out, but at least I have startup funds now. The next step is to set out and claim the spirit seed that will shock the world. Outside the airport in Lhasa, a burly man with a thick beard holds up a sign with both hands. Written in colorful marker is the name Cole. Hey buddy, name's Tiger. So you're the one climbing Everest, right? That's me. How soon can you arrange the climb? It was supposed to be the day after tomorrow, but the guide can't make it for a few days. Don't worry though, I've got your lodging all set up. Over the next few days, you can get familiar with the area. I've got all the gear stocked up. Once the guide arrives, we can head out right away. Let's go the day after tomorrow. I don't need a guide. Just give me the gear and take me to the base of the mountain. The agreed 100,000, not a cent less. At this moment, it is as if Tiger has just heard the most ridiculous joke of his life. Even the most elite climbing experts could never solo Everest. That is no different from a death wish. Kids these days are way too overconfident. The next day, Tiger brings me to a spot closest to Everest. Stay here for the night. All the gear is inside the tent. I need to go handle something. Tomorrow morning I can take you up. After checking the gear, I step out of the tent and head to a well-known lamb soup place nearby. Shortly after I sit down, I notice a woman not far away. Her skin is fair as jade, her features delicate and stunning. A textbook beauty, through and through. My gaze sweeps past her and lands on the two massive men behind her. Just one look, and I know this woman's identity is anything but ordinary. To be guarded by two elite Special Forces operatives, her purpose here must be anything but simple. One of the men behind her seems to sense something unusual about my gaze, but after a quick glance at me, he looks away. His eyes carry a look of pure dismissal, meaning in his eyes, I pose not even a sliver of a threat, but I could not care less. Still, running into people with special backgrounds at a time like this does not feel like a good omen. The next day, at the foot of Everest, Tiger walks into the mountaineering management office carrying a briefcase. After about 10 minutes, he signals me to come in. A middle-aged man pulls out a work uniform and hands it to me. Put this on before you go in. The inspectors up top have been cracking down lately, and take this tracker. Keep it on you. If anything goes wrong, call me on the radio immediately. Of course, that costs extra. Once I am out of earshot, Tiger quickly hands the middle-aged man a cup of hot water. Really appreciate it, Wes. Otherwise, this deal would have fallen through. Wes lets out a cold grunt. For the sake of our years of friendship, this is the last time I help you. Someone important is coming. If they discover our little scheme, one word from them and I am out of a job. Just then, a black SUV pulls up outside the office. The one leading the group is none other than the woman from the lamb soup place last night. Wes scrambles out to greet her. Serena, you could have given me a heads up. How is old Master Ashford doing? The lessons he taught me back in the day, I still think about them often. When I have time, I will definitely visit him. That's very kind of you, Uncle Wes. My grandfather is doing well. We are here on a mission this time and time is tight, so I want to start the climb immediately. Whatever you need, just contact me. I will handle it right away. Meanwhile, I am recalling the location that man mentioned in my previous life. Then I toss the tracker on the ground. Everyone assumes spirit seeds will appear at the summit, so they all scramble up like their lives depend on it, racing toward the peak. Little do they know, the treasure is right here at the base. I walk for nearly a full day and night. I only know the rough direction, scanning every inch, leaving no corner unchecked, until I finally haul myself over a massive boulder and see a jet black snow lotus, blooming silently. It radiates a faint dark shimmer, as if countless shadows sway with the wind. In this moment, I know for certain, this is a spirit seed. I stare at the black lotus, my mouth going dry. In my previous life, my spirit seed held the source of light. Light, in the eyes of the world, often symbolizes hope and the future. But as time went on, the higher-ups realized my advancement speed and actual power were not as impressive as they had hoped. What I still do not understand is why the Outlanders wanted me dead at any cost. I shake my head, pushing those questions aside. I pull a dagger from inside my jacket and slice open the artery on my arm. Hot blood gushes out and splashes directly onto the Black Lotus. I do this to increase the success rate of spirit seed fusion, a technique some genius invented in my previous life. I grab the lotus and swallow it whole. The freezing lotus instantly transforms into a surge of energy that floods into my body. That familiar, unimaginable pain returns after all these years. It burns until I completely lose consciousness and black out. I do not know how many days pass before I finally wake up in a pile of snow. I get up and immediately use my spirit sense to look inward. It worked. Inside my body there is a small, withered-looking black tree. Rooted on one of its branches hangs a tiny sphere of dark light. This means I am now a first-order transcendent. I check my phone and realize I have been out cold for 15 days. On the screen are countless calls and messages from Stella. I almost call her back, but after thinking it over, I crush the phone in my hand. I will just say I lost it. Then I turn my attention to the Shadow Spirit's first-order ability. Its name, Phantom Veil. My shadow begins to stretch outward, shifting its shape to match my will. With a single thought, a jet black spear launches from my shadow toward the boulder ahead. With just a light kick, this boulder, several stories tall, shatters like tofu. After only a brief test, I fully understand my first-order ability. The phantom formed from shadows can not only morph into any shape to attack, but can also detach from the ground and hover right in front of me. A spirit seed that combines offense, defense, speed, and raw power all in one. In my previous life, I only saw 3. But to have all of them from the very first stage, only the Shadow Spirit can do that. I merge with the shadow, transforming into a dark streak that rockets toward the summit of Everest. What takes an ordinary person half a month to accomplish, I do in mere seconds. At the same time, 2 groups are exchanging fire at the summit of Everest. Gunshots and bullets ricochet off the rocks in a relentless barrage. One of the groups looks familiar. It is the same woman and 2 men I saw at the lamb soup place. Right now, Serena is being shielded behind a large rock by her 2 operatives. Nox, when is backup arriving? Around the other group lie 5 or 6 bodies. Yet even so, they still outnumber Serena's side. At least another 30 minutes, Miss Ashford. They have the numbers and are all seasoned fighters. I'm afraid they are no ordinary enemies. Just then, the enemy fire stops. A voice calls out in broken Chinese. Drop your weapons, surrender immediately. If you surrender, I guarantee your lives. Nox's face turns terrifyingly dark. Damn it, foreign scum. They actually dare cross the border armed into our territory. Serena hears the voice and finds it strangely familiar. She quickly remembers who it belongs to. You have crossed the line, Lippy, and you have broken the rules. Do you know what the consequences are? Miss Ashford, since you are here, it seems we share the same objective. If you are willing to come back with me, I swear on my master that no harm will come to you. How about it? In your dreams, you think you can use me to leverage the Ashford family? If I die here, you will not be far behind. Lippy lets out a sigh and turns to the burly man beside him. One more push. If it doesn't work, we retreat. Knowing Serena, she definitely has a backup team waiting below. We are running out of time. The moment he finishes, gunfire erupts again. I stand in the shadows, watching this scene unfold with little interest. I am about to walk away, but hearing Serena's identity gives me an idea. The Ashford family is one of the most powerful families in the country. They carry enormous weight among the higher-ups. If I can use this to my advantage, it will be a huge boost to my early plans. With that in mind, I pick up a pebble and flick it toward one of the men below. Nox, who is suppressing the enemy fire with everything he has, is struck square in the knee. The impact sends his entire body lurching forward, completely out of control. The enemy seizes the opening. In an instant, several bullets tear through Nox's body. Serena stares blankly at Nox's body, her mind going completely blank. Without a flicker of emotion, I flick another pebble. The other operative's right hand is pierced through instantly. His grip on the rifle slips and it clatters to the ground. He stares at his own hand in shock. What the hell? Do they have a sniper too? Lippy, hiding behind cover, sees the whole thing and immediately lights up with excitement. Nice shot. Rush them. Take Serena alive. Serena's eyes are red with tears. Shaw, are you alright? I'm sorry, Serena. I failed to protect you. After I'm gone, you must not let them take you alive. With that, he grabs the rifle and charges out. Serena raises her handgun and points it at herself. Her entire body trembles uncontrollably. Even though she is strong at heart, in the face of death, she still feels the same fear as anyone else. Lippy walks to within a few feet of Serena. Miss Ashford, there is no need for this. Don't you have a saying in your country? Those who know when to bend, survive. Relax. As long as you cooperate, I will not hurt you. Serena hears this and simply glares at Lippy with ice-cold eyes. In your eyes, this era is more exciting than ever. But in the hearts of many, this era is nothing but despair. Don't worry, I'm sure you will be joining me soon enough. After those final words, she closes her eyes and prepares to pull the trigger. But right at that moment, a jet black spear pierces straight through Lippy's skull. In a split second, blood and brain matter splatter all over Serena. The remaining men snap to attention and open fire in my direction. But what happens next fills them with despair. Every single bullet slams into an invisible barrier and drops harmlessly to the ground. By the time Serena wipes the blood from her face, the ground is already littered with bodies. Even with all her training, her stomach still churns violently. I look at the bodies of Nox and Shaw and put on a grief-stricken expression. If only I had arrived sooner, then they would not have died. Seeing how sincere I look, Serena's fear eases considerably. Sir, which department are you with? I give her a friendly smile. I'm just an ordinary civilian. Becoming like this was a complete accident. You saw it yourself. I'm still not great at controlling my power. I meant to give them a quick, clean death. Who knew it would turn out like this? Serena's eyes go wide. A civilian transcendent? And with a spirit seed this overpowered? If he could join the Ashford family, their influence in the current political landscape would skyrocket. But just as she is about to invite me, she remembers what the elders in her family once told her. Serena, these transcendents, in a way, are no longer truly human. With that kind of terrifying power, when they encounter certain situations, they tend to act on pure impulse. So when dealing with these people, be careful, extremely careful. Sir, might I ask for your name and number? Today's life-saving grace, I will repay it without fail. A woman with some brains at least. That is what I think to myself. Then I shake my head with a smile. No need to repay me. I just did not want to see my own people getting pushed around by outsiders. Then I spread the shadow beneath my feet outward to cover every body and piece of remains scattered around. It engulfs them all. The remains, along with the bodies of Knox and Shaw, sink as if swallowed by a bottomless abyss and vanish without a trace. Well then, this is where we part ways. With that, I dissolve into a streak of dark shadow and vanish from the spot. Serena watches in utter disbelief. What level of spirit seed is that? He can even teleport? High above in the sky, a dark silhouette streaks like a meteor across the clouds. When I rush home without stopping, the first thing I see is Stella sitting on the couch, completely spaced out. The instant she spots me, she freezes for a moment, then leaps to her feet. Cole! Where have you been these past 2 weeks? You never answered your phone. Do you know I even called the police? They told me you bought a ticket to Lhasa. I thought you got scammed and couldn't come back. I pull the sobbing Stella into a tight hug. I'm fine, Stella. Our good days are about to begin. Remember when you were little, you used to envy the princesses on TV? From now on, you can live like that too. But Stella pulls away from my embrace. Cole, a simple life is a blessing. You can't just go doing dangerous things for the sake of money. Even if you never work a day, I can still provide for you. But the price of living a simple life is having no say when certain things come knocking. Stella stares at me blankly. She can feel it. The little cousin standing before her is no longer the same. Still, she insists on knowing what I have been doing all this time, and I tell her the lie I prepared long ago. I made plans with classmates back in college to snap some photos and flex on social media at Everest after graduation, but I lost my phone and had no money to buy a new one. Luckily, a kind stranger bought me a plane ticket home. Stella finally lets out a sigh of relief. Thank goodness you're okay. You must be starving. Let me go make you something to eat. Late at night, I sit cross-legged and begin absorbing the dark source from the surrounding darkness. This source energy is useless to ordinary people, but a transcendent can convert it into spirit energy. That spirit energy is then absorbed by the Tao tree within, and once it absorbs enough, a spirit fruit will form. Each additional spirit fruit on the Tao tree marks a successful advancement for the transcendent. In my previous life, the man who obtained the shadow spirit quickly drew countless eyes upon himself. The shadow spirit's terrifying advancement speed and monstrous abilities put him in the crosshairs of the Outlanders and even his own kind. Many in the higher ranks wanted him strong, but not too strong. In the end, some of them conspired with the Outlanders and had him assassinated. As I continue to grow, the Tao tree inside me keeps absorbing the dark source without pause. That single spirit fruit glows with a soft light, gently swaying as if dancing with joy. The shadow spirit's absorption rate is absolutely terrifying. At this pace, breaking through to the second order will take me a month at most. For reference, an ordinary transcendent without any external aid needs at least 6 years to reach the second order. It is 3 in the morning. My silhouette appears in the bustling nightlife district. It is time for phase 2 of the plan. In an alley beside a bar, 2 men are cursing and beating a young man on the ground. The young man on the ground, eyes bloodshot, roars and tries to crawl back to his feet, but one of them kicks him flat on his back. Damn it, let go of Lou, shut him up, knock him out, don't ruin my fun! The bystanders see this scene and know exactly what is about to happen. Someone in the crowd recognizes the ringleader, some spoiled rich kid from Dazhou City. I watch the scene and a satisfied smile crosses my face. The pebble in my hand flies out with a flick. Which suicidal idiot just took a shot at me? One of the thugs jabs his finger at the crowd, screaming, "Throwing rocks at me? I'll kill every last one of you and walk free tomorrow." The crowd scatters in a panic. Then another pebble flies in, hitting its mark perfectly, right on the thug's skull. A warm stream of blood instantly runs down his cheek. Now he can see exactly who threw it. "Some little punk dares throw rocks at me? I'll cripple you tonight and slaughter your family tomorrow right in front of you," he snarls as he storms toward me. His massive frame, combined with his rage-twisted face, makes him look even more menacing. I slap half his face clean off with a single strike. One of his eyeballs nearly pops out of its socket. There is no scream, because he's already knocked unconscious. Then I drive a kick into his lower abdomen. His spine shatters along with it. He will be spending the rest of his life in bed. The other 2 stare at me, frozen in shock. I walk toward them, step by step, without wasting a single word. 1 kick each. Same spot, same result. The next day I wake up well past lunchtime. On the table sits a lunch Stella prepared for me, along with a stack of cash. There is also a note in her handwriting. "Cole, don't forget to eat lunch. I left 3,000 for you. Make sure you go buy a new phone." I pick up the money and cannot help but smile. This silly girl. She's been using the same phone for years and never wanted to replace it. But this is the perfect chance to get her a nice new one too. At the phone store, I use what is left from the loan to buy 2 Huawei phones. The moment I step outside, I sense no fewer than 20 pairs of eyes on me. I carry the phones and walk casually, acting oblivious, heading straight for my apartment complex. The moment I step through the gate, several people in uniform approach me. The woman in front holds a file and speaks slowly. Cole, 22 years old, graduated from Dajo Normal University, lost both parents at the age of 3. You were taken in by your uncle until you were 12, when your uncle fell into gambling, drugs, and trafficking. He planned to sell your cousin Stella off as a bride, but not long after he died in a drunken accident. Since then, you and Stella have depended on each other to this very day. Cole, you have a good cousin. She gave up a top university overseas for you, worked part-time to pay her way through school, all while taking care of you. I watched them in silence the entire time, saying nothing. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tessa. I am from a special department. Please come with us. My superior would like to speak with you. Her tone leaves no room for negotiation. I smile, but this particular smile sends a sudden chill through Tessa's heart. The burly man behind her steps forward and shields Tessa behind him. At the same time, several red dots light up across my body. Clearly, they have this entire area locked down. Are you here about those 3 pieces of trash from last night? No. They are not worth our time. We are here for you because of your abilities. Fine, I will go with you. But let me drop off these phones at home first. Of course, we will wait right here. I thank her and turn toward my building. But once inside, out of their sight, a strange smile creeps across my face. Finally, you have come for me at last, my dear comrades. Transcendent Headquarters, I am back. The burly man looks puzzled. Tessa, you are just letting him go back alone? Aren't you worried he will use his powers to bolt? Tessa chuckles softly. If he is smart, he won't run. After all, he is not alone in this world. He has someone he cares about. If that weren't the case, we would not be here to invite him today. We would be here to eliminate him before he grows any stronger. I do not keep them waiting long. Soon, I climb into their modified military vehicle. All 4 windows are covered with some kind of special material, making it impossible to see anything outside. Where are we heading? Transcendent Headquarters. I hope the next time you visit we won't have to receive you like this. I know exactly what she means. Right now, they do not trust me at all, so naturally they will not let me know where HQ is located. After nearly half a day in the vehicle, the door finally opens. Before me stands that familiar building. Pretty impressive, right? And just between us, this place is in a very special location. You would never guess where. As she speaks, a man in a suit approaches, all smiles as he introduces himself. Hello, Cole. My name is Director Hayes. I am Tessa's superior. My task is done. If there is nothing else, I will take my leave. No rush. Why don't you accompany our young friend Cole to the conference room? You are both from Dajo City after all. Having you around might help him relax. Isn't that right, young man? I give a slight nod and follow Director Hayes into the conference room. 5 people are already seated inside. From the moment I walk in, they watch everything like silent observers. Unlike my calm composure, Tessa is visibly nervous. She sneaks a glance at the elder seated at the center. Oh my god, isn't that the legendary Transcendent she saw on television? Then, Director Hayes begins explaining the origins of the Transcendents and the existence of the Outlanders. The balance of the world is quietly shifting. A brand new era is on the horizon. Cole, we invited you here because we hope you will join us and serve your country. So basically, risk my life for the nation? And whenever there is a suicide mission, it will definitely land on us Transcendents. Like those Outlanders you just mentioned. Correct. It is exactly as you say. Of course you are free to decline. That is entirely your choice. Hearing this, I cannot stop laughing inside. Then what do I get if I join, and what happens if I don't? Join us, and you become an official Transcendent. We will evaluate your ability level, ranging from S rank at the top to C rank at the bottom. Based on your rank, you will receive a corresponding stipend starting at 200,000 a month, along with special identification credentials and limited family protection. Additionally, completing missions earns you contribution points. These points can be exchanged for spirit artifacts, which are also a pathway to advancing your power. Of course, if you choose to refuse, we will not interfere with your life. But you must obey the law, and not use your abilities to harm others. Just sign the agreement, and you can pretend none of this ever happened. We will send you home. After laying it all out, he watches me quietly, clearly waiting for my answer. I rub my brow, pretending to think it over for a moment, then finally speak. I'm in. Director Hayes does not look the least bit surprised, as if he expected this answer all along. Cole, welcome aboard. I hope that in the future you will help us protect our nation and our people. By the way, what is your ability? I snap my fingers. The next second, a dark shadow slowly rises from beneath my feet and takes form. The elder sees this and stands up immediately. The ability to control your own shadow? Interesting. Is there anything else I need to do? No, you are free to go. In a short while, your credentials and communication device will be delivered to you personally. Unless we contact you, just carry on with your normal life. I nod. In the next instant, everyone watches as my figure vanishes from the spot. High in the sky, I look down at the buildings below. No one would ever guess that Transcendent Headquarters is nestled in the middle of a secluded mountain wilderness. As I study the compound from above, 3 pairs of eyes from below are locked onto me. Transcendent HQ truly has hidden powerhouses everywhere. Inside the conference room, a middle-aged man in military uniform turns to the elder in disbelief. Elder Quinn, this kid can actually fly. What is so surprising about that? His ability is quite unique. He merges his body into the shadow to achieve flight. This one is a promising talent. 20 days have passed since I returned from HQ. During this time, my days look completely uneventful. By day, I wander around under the excuse of job hunting. just killing time. By night, I train steadily, building my strength. And now the first spirit fruit inside me has reached its maximum capacity. It can no longer absorb any more source energy. It is time to break through to the second order. I channel every ounce of my power, concentrating it into a single point and directing it toward a withered branch on the Tao tree. The dead branch, flooded with energy, slowly begins to change. A tiny sprout emerges, like dead wood coming back to life. Then it transforms into a budding flower. Growing a second spirit fruit requires not only the Transcendent's own strength to be powerful enough, but also demands that immense source energy be forcefully poured into the Tao tree. If this process fails, it will cause devastating damage to both the Tao tree and the Transcendent. After what feels like an eternity, a tiny fruit finally appears on the Tao tree, looking fragile and delicate. Yet even so, I can sense that it is every bit as powerful as the first, fully matured spirit fruit. The next afternoon, Tessa calls and asks me to meet her at a cafe. Congratulations, Chief Cole. After evaluation and discussion by the higher-ups, HQ has classified you as a B-rank Transcendent with a monthly stipend of 500,000. Furthermore, HQ has officially appointed you as the director of Dajo City. I will serve as your full-time assistant. In a way, you are now the most powerful person in Dajo City. B rank, huh? I am not surprised at all. After all, I deliberately led them to this conclusion. They only know my ability involves shadows. They have no idea it is true darkness. If that is everything, I will be heading out. There is one more thing. A new Transcendent has recently appeared in Dajo City, but he is a strange one. Every night at 9 he waits on the street for a middle-aged woman. He does not rob her or assault her. He just slaps her across the face over and over until she passes out. According to the victim, no matter what she offers or how much she begs, he refuses to stop. It is as if he simply wants to hit her. Given that his actions have become a serious threat to ordinary people, HQ hopes you, as the director, will step in to apprehend him. Lethal force is authorized if necessary. This mission is worth 30 contribution points. Hearing contribution points, I shake my head inwardly. The real value of contribution points is not about redeeming items. They are the key metric the higher-ups secretly use to evaluate a Transcendent's character. The more points you have, the more the higher-ups will invest in you. After all, everyone prefers a Transcendent with a sense of duty. Send me the address, I will handle it. With that, I stand up and walk out of the cafe. Now with 500,000 a month coming in, it is time to keep my promise to Stella. I head to the sales office of Dajo City's most prestigious neighborhood, Star Lake Gardens. In the past, whenever she walked by this neighborhood, she would smile and ask me, "Do you think the people who live here are happy?" In my previous life, after I became a Transcendent, I bought her a villa here. Just then, a pretty sales agent spots me and hurries over. "Looking for a home, sir? Star Lake Gardens has beautiful scenery. It is the premier residential area in Dajo City. The surrounding amenities and landscaping are all top tier. I want Unit AO3. Excellent taste. AO3 is the best located villa in the complex. 413 square meters of floor space. Full payment comes to 9.65 million. Hearing the price, I dial Tessa without hesitation. "Lend me 10 million. Tessa, lounging lazily on her couch, hears that number and her jaw drops. 10 million? You sure you don't mean 10,000? Do I look like some trust fund heiress to you? My voice takes on a hint of irritation. If you can't do it, forget it. I will ask someone else. Tessa grips her phone tightly, torn. 10 million. She definitely cannot pull that together on her own, but she can ask her family. The question is whether it is worth it, spending 10 million to get on the good side of a Transcendent she barely knows. Even if I don't lend it to you, I'm sure plenty of others will. Give me a moment, I need time to put it together. After hanging up, Tessa tells her father about the situation. Father, that is the situation. Do you think it is worth it? Her father cuts her off immediately. That kind of money is nothing to a Transcendent. I will transfer it to you right now. Tessa, listen to me. Opportunities to buy your way into a Transcendent's good graces are rare. If our family wants to keep its fortune in the years ahead, we must hold on tight to a Transcendent. Tessa, you are not getting any younger. While this Cole kid is still young, find a chance to get him drunk. That way he will be tied to our family for good. Do you understand? Father, what are you even saying? After hanging up, Tessa's cheeks have turned bright red without her realizing it. The moment she receives her father's transfer, she sends the money over right away. On my end, my phone pings with a deposit notification. I hand my bank card to the sales agent. Swipe it. From start to finish, the sales agent, Lily, feels like she is dreaming. Once all the paperwork is done, she asks with a puzzled look, "Mr. Cole, forgive me for asking, but on the property deed, are you sure you only want Stella's name?" That's right, her name only. Hearing this, Lily feels an inexplicable pang of jealousy toward this Stella woman. She thinks with her own figure and looks, she might have a shot too. "Mr. Cole, thank you for helping me hit my sales target. If you are free, I would love to invite you to my place for dinner. I have a bottle of fine aged liquor that I would love for you to try. Would that be alright?" By the time she finishes, her head is practically buried in her own chest. But unlike what she expected, there is no response at all. When she finally looks up, I am already long gone. 9 o'clock at night. Near an industrial district, Maya rides her electric scooter, her hands trembling non-stop. Lately, no matter which route she takes home, she gets attacked. Nobody else is ever touched. She cannot figure out why this keeps happening to her. She looks around nervously, afraid that attacker will suddenly leap out from some corner again. Right then, a man wearing a bullhead mask appears out of nowhere in front of her scooter. Even behind that mask, she can feel his sinister grin. Not far away at the roadside, a car is parked. Tessa sits inside wearing earbuds, munching on chips, keeping her eyes fixed on Maya. She is here because HQ wants her to try and recruit this new transcendent. Maya collapses to the ground, begging desperately. Please, please stop hitting me, let me go. Her voice is drenched in fear and desperation. Bullmask is completely unmoved by her pleas. In fact, he seems to be enjoying himself. He raises his right hand high, about to slap her hard across the face once more, when he suddenly senses a hint of danger. Out of the corner of his eye, he catches a dark silhouette. He locks eyes with me for just 1 second, and a cold sweat instantly breaks out down his spine. Just as he is about to let Maya go and walk away, he hears these words. Go ahead and slap her. You had better knock her out cold in 1 hit. Otherwise, I will knock you out instead. Bullmask lets out a weird laugh and delivers 1 hard slap that knocks Maya out cold. Look, friend, we have no beef with each other. I slap her because of a personal grudge, so let's just pretend we never met tonight. How about it? I don't have a problem with that, but this lady here seems to have something to say to you. Tessa steps out of the car at that moment. We are government operatives. We just have a few questions for you. We hope you will cooperate. Bullmask glances at Tessa briefly, then cautiously turns his gaze back to me. After weighing his options, he finally agrees. Tessa starts by asking him several questions. She needs to know why he has been hitting this woman and how he obtained his transcendent abilities. As it turns out, Bullmask and Maya are co-workers. She is his supervisor. Because she constantly targeted him and made his work life miserable, he decided to get revenge this way. As for his powers, his grandfather back home had mailed him some herbal medicine. After hearing all of this, Tessa can only think one thing. Life is so unfair. Becoming a transcendent is the dream of countless people, and that includes her. One last question. Would you be willing to join the government and use your powers to serve your country? There are plenty of benefits, great pay, a respected status, and you would never have to work in a factory again. The man shakes his head without hesitation. I'm not well educated, but my grandma always taught me nothing good ever falls from the sky for free. I make $4,000 a month right now, and that feels pretty good to me. Content with what he has. Admirable. This guy looks like a total fool on the surface, but deep down he is sharp as a tack. Fine, you don't have to join, but your actions have harmed an ordinary citizen. Tomorrow, someone will escort you to HQ for a period of mandatory training. The man furrows his brow. So you are saying whether I join or not, I still have to go to this HQ of yours? That's right, because your behavior has already— Before Tessa can finish her sentence, the man suddenly launches himself forward, his body shooting toward Tessa like a bullet, but his fist stops just 1 inch from Tessa's face. No matter how hard he pushes, he cannot move a single inch, because his entire body is wrapped in a coil of dark shadow. Once Tessa regains her composure, she stumbles back several steps, her face pale as a ghost. She cannot understand why he suddenly attacked. Every discovered transcendent is invited to HQ to register and sign an agreement. It is simply for the sake of social stability. Why did you try to kill me? You so-called government people are all the same, not a single good one among you. When this woman bullied me at work, where were you then? And now, I finally get the power to fight back and you come for me? There's no way I'm going to your HQ. Hey brother, you are a transcendent too. Why are you willing to be their lapdog? You have never felt what it is like when right and wrong get flipped upside down. Take my advice, cut all ties with them. The world is a big place. The two of us together, where can't we go? A faint smile tugs at the corner of my mouth. There is no black and white in this world. As long as you are strong enough, whatever you call black is black, and whatever you call white is white. The man frowns. He knows he cannot convince me. So he makes up his mind to kill again. But in the very next instant, a jet-black spear erupts from beneath Tessa's shadow and pierces straight through the man's skull. This is the Shadow Spirit's second-order ability, Shadow Dominion. It allows control over every shadow within range. Blood splatters across Tessa's face. This is the first time she has seen death up close, and in such a brutal way. She doubles over and vomits. You could have just restrained him. Why did you have to kill him? Tessa. Your position is boxed in your thinking. This man has been through real suffering. He is an uneducated man from the bottom of society. If you let him go, he will become a threat down the road. Just now, if I had not stepped in, you would probably be a corpse right now. Instead of thanking me for saving your life, you turn around and question me? And remember, you are just my assistant. You do not have the standing to question me. If there is a next time, you can pack your bags and leave Dajo City. My figure vanishes into thin air. Tessa stands frozen in place. Those words cut through her heart like a blade. Just then, Director Hayes' voice comes through her earpiece. Tessa, Cole was right. His methods may be ruthless, but the outcome was correct. There are many things you will come to understand in time. Back at Transcendent HQ, Director Hayes removes his earpiece and walks to the window with a dark expression. This Cole, he killed someone without even consulting HQ. He has zero regard for our authority. At that moment, a young man walks over. Honestly, I think he did the right thing. If we had brought that guy in, what would you do, Director? Release him? Kill him? If you let him go, someone like that would always resent the government. Sooner or later, he would turn against us. If you kill him, he hasn't exactly committed a capital crime. And if you lock him up, other transcendents would feel uneasy. After all, these people all think pretty highly of themselves. So you think you are above everyone too, Glenn? Glenn quickly throws his hands up. Present company excluded. Director, you really know how to joke around. I, Glenn, am ready to give my life for this country and its people at any time. Then let me ask you this. Throughout history, whenever dynasties faced foreign invaders, do you know why the royals always fought to the bitter end, while those who had merely enjoyed wealth and privilege so often surrendered or betrayed the throne? You mean, a sense of belonging? Director Hayes nods. You come from a military family, so naturally you feel an unbreakable bond with this nation. But Cole has been an orphan since childhood. He is highly intelligent and remarkably capable. Trying to plant an unbreakable sense of belonging in the heart of someone that sharp, that is incredibly hard to do. Meanwhile, Stella stares at me in utter shock. Standing right in front of her is a human figure made entirely of shadow. Stella, now do you believe me? The world has changed. In the future, all kinds of strange creatures and events will appear. So the villa you just mentioned, the government really gave it to you? Yep, and a salary of $500,000 a month. You never have to work again. Buy whatever you want. From now on, you don't have to envy those rich girls on television anymore. But Stella's face shows no trace of happiness, only deep worry and unease. Cole, if they are paying you that much, the job must be incredibly dangerous. I don't want that kind of life. I'm already happy with what we have. Can you please stop working for them? In this moment, Stella's words are exactly the same as what she said when I first joined HQ in my previous life. Everyone in this world changes. Everyone except this girl. Stella, they already have their eyes on me. I don't get to choose what kind of life I live anymore. There is no going back on this road. Once you quit, you die. Stella falls silent and reluctantly lets it go. Afterwards, she takes 2 days off from work to help with the move. During the move, Brock from the lending company shows up to collect the debt. But getting money out of my pocket is next to impossible. A quick lesson sends them running. After Brock goes back, something about me nags at him. So he pulls some strings to have my identity investigated. What he finds stops him cold. Even the local security bureau chief does not have clearance to access my file. He is baffled. Why would someone like that need to borrow money from him? Inside the villa at Star Lake Gardens, Stella prepares a huge spread to celebrate the housewarming. During dinner, I slide my bank card across the table to her. Quit your job. I need your help with something. The things a transcendent deals with are beyond what ordinary people can imagine. Most of my time needs to go toward training and completing missions. So I need an assistant I can trust completely. Besides you, I don't trust anyone. This time, Stella does not refuse. She agrees without hesitation. A month passes in the blink of an eye. During this time, Tessa seems to have vanished completely. No missions come down from HQ either. The only reminder of my status is the $500,000 deposited into my account at the start of each month. But today, Tessa suddenly calls. Chief Cole, HQ just sent an urgent message. All Transcendents are being called in for an extremely important meeting. I've already arranged your flight. If there are no issues, please depart immediately. Hearing Tessa's words, my eyes narrow. A single event flashes through my mind, the Dahu City outbreak. The first time Transcendents and Outlanders were revealed to the public. That event was not supposed to happen for another year. Why is it moved up? Inside the conference room at Transcendent HQ, Director Hayes holds a tablet and speaks in a measured tone. What you are about to hear is classified at the highest level. Any leak will be treated as an act of treason. Of course, I am confident that no one in this room would make such a mistake. Then, Director Hayes plays a video. On screen appears a middle-aged man. He looks around in terror, his voice shaking violently. HQ, reporting in. I found the creature, but it has spotted me too. The last time I saw it, it was near the Huangyu Hotel. Search outward from that location and you will find it. Lastly, please, take care of my family. The footage ends there. The man in the video was Reed. He was one of the Transcendents sent by HQ to investigate the incident codenamed the 03 Massacre. Director Hayes then shows a photograph, a grotesque creature beyond all comprehension. It slaughtered over 600 people in a single village. We have been tracking this Outlander creature for 4 years. We have tried to corner it again and again, but it has escaped every time. Until 2 nights ago, when Reed finally pinpointed its location. The reason we have gathered you all here is to eliminate it. At that moment, a Transcendent named Drake rises to his feet. Director Hayes, if I had known this was the mission, I would never have come. From what I know, 2 years ago during the 03 Massacre, over 100 First Order Transcendents and more than 3,000 Special Forces operatives were deployed. The enemy was just one creature. Director Hayes, do I really need to spell out how that ended? Director Hayes listens to this and responds calmly. 68 Transcendents killed in action, 10 critically wounded, 34 deserted, 3,420 Special Forces operatives killed, 235 left permanently disabled. Not a single one fled. I understand your concern. Back then we underestimated its strength, but according to Reed's intel, it is no longer operating alone. However, over the past 2 years, our ranks have grown significantly stronger. We now have quite a few second-order Transcendents. Most importantly, this time you will not be the primary strike team. You are serving as perimeter support. Drake lets out a cold laugh. Director Hayes, forgive me, but I'm not up to the task. I will sit this operation out. He stands up and heads for the door. Several others in the room, hearing Drake's words, also make up their minds to drop out. But right at that moment, an elderly man with a walking cane enters the conference room. He wears a warm smile, yet his presence sends an inexplicable wave of dread through everyone. Director Hayes sees who it is and greets him with deep respect. Then he turns back to Drake. You are free to withdraw from this operation, but you will be expelled from HQ. Being expelled means losing all special privileges and being placed under permanent surveillance. Drake thinks it over for only a brief moment before giving his answer. You people have no idea how terrifying that Outlander is. Even without HQ, I can still survive just fine. I'm a Transcendent. The sky is the limit, and I am the bird. Director Hayes, I won't hold you all back. I choose to leave. Hearing his answer, Director Hayes puts several photos up on the main screen. Drake, since you are no longer a member of HQ, you will now be classified as a civilian Transcendent and placed under formal investigation. You have used your abilities to drug and assault women, used narcotics, beaten people, and engaged in sexual acts with underage girls. If you were an ordinary person, you would have been executed long ago. Only because you are a transcendent did we turn a blind eye. Now, when we need your abilities to save lives, you refuse to help. Then what use is there in keeping you alive? Drake trembles with rage. Seeing the evidence laid bare, he knows he has no leg to stand on. He turns to leave, but Elder Quinn, who has been silent this entire time, suddenly moves. He gently lifts his cane and slams it down. Drake instantly loses all control of his body, unable to move a muscle. Not only that, but in the corner of his eye he sees Elder Quinn raise the cane once more. In this moment he feels the cold grip of death. Drake's pupils contract sharply. Blood begins pouring from the corners of his mouth. With a heavy thud, his entire body crumples to the floor. Moments later, he stops breathing. It happens so fast that everyone stares at Elder Quinn in sheer horror, unable to comprehend how he managed to kill a transcendent so effortlessly. I study Elder Quinn up on the stage, and the life force within him. He has pushed this ability to its absolute limit. His power is easily on par with an S-rank transcendent. Backed by the nation's resources and immense training support, he should be at third order by now. Then my gaze shifts to the nation's first S-rank transcendent, Celine. She senses the strange gaze and glances back with a puzzled look. She gives me one look and turns back around. Seeing this unforgettable person from my past life again, I feel surprisingly little. If no one else is withdrawing, then the briefing continues. Director Hayes moves on to explain the Outlanders. No one knows why the Outlanders appeared on Blue Star, but our research has shown that their method of growing stronger differs from ours. They seem to grow more powerful simply with the passage of time, and human hearts provide them with a small boost of energy. That is why they slaughter humans. Regarding their abilities, all we know so far is that they can shapeshift. They can assume the appearance of any person. The only good news is that they cannot tell a transcendent from an ordinary person by looks alone. However, transcendents can use their unique sensory system to identify nearby Outlanders. Your individual assignments are in your communicators. Once you have confirmed your mission, you may leave and head to your designated locations. I open my communicator and check the assignment. The mission reads, using Mingley High School in Dahu City as the center point, investigate all anomalies within a 10-kilometer radius. Protect the students at all costs if danger arises. The communicator also has a tracking feature that can locate any transcendent requesting backup. 2 days later, I am sitting in a cold drink stall across from Mingley High School, sipping milk tea and playing a puzzle game, while keeping an eye on the students heading home. Among them, a girl with a ponytail and an exceptional aura catches my attention. Strangely, even though this is the first time I have seen her, she feels oddly familiar. Right at that moment, a luxury SUV pulls up in front of the girl. A man and a woman step out. The man speaks with an eager grin. Serena, I know this really fun place. Why don't you and Dream come hang out later? Serena's eyes flash with a barely noticeable hint of disgust. That won't be necessary. Thanks for giving me a ride to pick up Dream, or I definitely would not have made it in time. It was on the way. Blame that taxi driver for wrecking your car. But really, we must be destined to meet. I just got back to the country and ran right into you. Let's get together tonight. Serena sees that he has no intention of leaving and feels helpless. She cannot be too harsh with her words since he did just do her a favor. A childhood friend, after all. Dream senses the awkward tension, grabs Serena's hand, and pulls her toward the drink stall across the street. Serena, I want one of these. The stall is packed with students since school just let out. Victor immediately follows. Dream, what do you want to drink? I'll buy it for you. Dream completely ignores him. She orders 2 fresh squeezed juices from the vendor and sits down at the only table, watching me play a puzzle game. Boss, add 1 more juice please. The vendor hears him and picks up the pace. Sure thing, but there are over 10 students ahead of you. It might take about 20 minutes. Hearing this, Victor looks displeased. 20 minutes is too long. I'll transfer you 1,000. Make our 3 cups first. Serena hears this and feels a surge of anger rise within her. Victor, if you don't want to wait, you can leave. Serena, just stay out of this. In this world, there is nothing money can't buy. It's only a matter of how much. The vendor freezes, feeling as though his dignity has been trampled on. The rule here is, you wait in line, or you can buy from another stall. Victor does not get angry. Instead, he smiles and gives the vendor a thumbs up. 100,000. Make our 3 cups first. You have 10 seconds to decide. Take it or leave it. This is a one-time deal. The countdown rings in the vendor's ears. In the end, he grits his teeth and agrees. Fine, I'll make yours first. Everyone else, please wait a moment. Your drinks are on me today. The students around burst into cheers. Serena watches Victor transfer the money with undisguised disgust. She walks to the table to take Dream and leave, but spots a familiar face. At the same time, I look up at Serena. Serena, what a coincidence. We meet again. Serena looks flustered and a bit nervous. Yes, sir. What a surprise. Last time you left so quickly, I didn't even get a chance to get your contact info. This time, please let me properly thank you. Drop the sir act. We are about the same age. Just call me Cole. Just then, Victor walks over with 3 cups of juice. Seeing Serena and me chatting and laughing, a flash of displeasure crosses his eyes. Serena, is this a friend of yours? I have never seen him before. Serena completely ignores Victor. Cole, let's catch up another time. Dream, let's go. I glance at the girl who is just sitting next to me. So that is Dream. Victor watches the 2 of them walk away. The smile on his face slowly darkens. He tosses the 3 juices he just spent 100,000 on straight into the trash, then turns to me with a challenge. Kid, how do you 2 know each other? Why is Serena so polite to you? How do we know each other? Let me think, how should I put it? Let's just say that day was very intense. Her body would not stop trembling. She collapsed on the ground and couldn't get up for a long time. Victor's breath catches in his throat. Intense. Trembling. From those few words alone, his mind paints a vivid picture, and he is not the leading man. I see right through what he is thinking. From the very start, I have been watching him the way you would watch a clown, and that look cuts deep into his pride. Just as he swings his fist aiming straight for my face, he finds his body frozen in place, completely out of his control, like a patient under full anesthesia. The only difference is that his mind is perfectly clear, but he quickly realizes things are far worse than he thought. The people around watch Victor walk toward the road like a robot, and right now, it is peak rush hour. Traffic roars by in an endless stream, and just then Victor's body begins moving on its own. What is happening? What is going on? No! Victor's mind is crystal clear as he feels his body turn around and walk toward the curb, but he cannot control a single muscle. He cannot even open his mouth to speak. He is nothing but a spectator, watching helplessly as his own body walks to the edge of the road and continues all the way to the bus stop. It is the evening rush. The bus stop is crowded with office workers and students waiting for their ride. Victor stands among them, just standing there in perfect silence. Around him, a few young girls sneak glances at this tall, strikingly handsome man. As time ticks by, traffic surges along the road. Soon, with a screech of brakes, a bus pulls into the stop. The doors slide open and passengers begin boarding in an orderly line. Victor remains standing like a statue, perfectly still. The bus driver sees he has no intention of boarding and closes the doors. The handbrake releases with a creak. The bus wheels begin to roll. At that moment, a young girl waiting for the next bus musters the courage to tap Victor on the shoulder, hoping to get his number. But the instant her hand touches him, his body lurches forward and dives to the ground. In this moment, Victor looks like a man with a death wish, shoving his own head beneath the bus that has just started moving. The massive tire rolls over with almost no resistance. Splat. The sound of a watermelon shattering on the pavement rings out. At the bus stop, a middle-aged woman's watermelon slips from her hands at the horrific sight and smashes on the ground. Then screams erupt across the entire bus stop. Piercing sirens wail. Police cars and ambulances come racing in. Near the drink stall, a student turns to a friend. Someone in the group chat is saying a bus just ran someone over up ahead. Let's go check it out. The vendor, busy cleaning up, hears this and glances toward the road in surprise. That's strange. I've been here for over 10 years and I've never heard of a bus hitting someone, let alone killing them. He shakes his head with a sigh. As the sky grows darker and business dries up, the vendor begins packing up for the day. Hey kid. The vendor wipes down his station while making small talk with Cole. You know, something feels off. I made 100,000 today. I should be thrilled, but for some reason, I can't feel happy about it at all. Cole glances at him and speaks casually. Why overthink it? Money can give you a good life. Dignity can only give you self-comfort. The vendor pauses, his rag frozen mid-wipe. He looks at Cole and asks cautiously, young man, if it were you, you'd definitely choose the money too, right? After all, who doesn't want money? Cole tosses his empty cup into the trash, stands up, and says one word, no. The vendor's expression shifts immediately. A wave of shame washes over him. This kid would rather pass on 100,000 just to keep his dignity? Compared to him, I'm just pathetic. Just as regret starts creeping in, Cole, already walking away, adds one more line. I want it all. The vendor stares speechlessly at Cole's retreating figure. The idea he had of giving Cole a freebie tomorrow evaporates on the spot. Not long after, just as the vendor finishes packing up and is about to ride his cart home, several police officers arrive with two students. Is this the place? The officer asks the students. That's right, officer. That man bought his juice right here. After hearing the students, the officer turns to the vendor and eyes his cart. He gives a subtle nod to his colleagues. Three other officers step forward and begin searching the cart. What are you doing? I'm allowed to set up here. I paid my stall fees. The vendor tries to stop them, but the lead officer blocks him with an outstretched arm. He pulls up a photo on his phone and shows it to the vendor. We are from the Songnyan District Precinct. This man bought drinks from you not long ago, correct? The vendor sees Victor's photo and nods after a brief pause. That's right, he was here not long ago. He bought 3 cups of juice. The officer watches his face closely and speaks. He's dead, at the bus stop 200 meters ahead. When the bus started moving, he threw himself under the wheels and was crushed to death. The vendor's jaw drops. Disbelief spreads across his face. A man like Victor would never take his own life, even if it looks like suicide. The officer continues. That is exactly why we need to investigate everyone who had contact with him today. Seeing the other officers still rummaging through his cart, the vendor speaks up with a pained look. Officer, I have nothing against the man. You don't seriously think I spiked his drink and that's what killed him? The lead officer gives him a flat look. Nobody said you spiked anything. This is just standard elimination procedure. As the sky grows darker, and the search turns up nothing, the officers use the excuse of needing to test the drink ingredients and haul away the entire cart. Of course, the vendor goes with it. Up on the rooftop of Mingley High School, Cole watches the scene below without a trace of emotion. Victor is dead. The Song family will not let this slide. And if the investigation turns up nothing, then the vendor becomes the prime suspect. After all, he still has Victor's 100,000 yuan payment in his account. What sane, rational person would pay 100,000 for 3 cups of juice? With that thought, Cole glances at the night sky, sits cross-legged, and begins his nightly cultivation. In the darkness between heaven and earth, invisible source energy is drawn toward him and flows into his body, absorbed by the Tao tree. Over the past month, the second spirit fruit on Cole's Tao tree has been growing steadily. At this rate, relying on step-by-step training alone, breaking through to the third order will take at least another 6 months. Still too slow. With certain events arriving ahead of schedule, a sense of urgency begins building inside Cole. For a transcendent to advance, aside from daily cultivation, there is also the option of consuming spirit artifacts to boost progress. But spirit artifacts were still extremely rare even centuries from now. They were treasures that transcendents would kill for, let alone in the present era. Although HQ has never openly disclosed how many spirit artifacts they possess, Cole can tell from experience alone that the current supply is far from abundant, and whatever they have is reserved for those with strong connections and formidable power, like Elder Quinn or Celine. At the very least, they go to transcendents who have made major contributions as rewards. As for Cole right now, there is no way HQ would hand him any, unless he finds a way to make them. Time crawls by. Mingley High School sits in dead silence. It is 1 in the morning. Cole stands and stretches, then vanishes from the rooftop. Over the past 2 days he has been killing time during the day and scouting the area at night, searching for anything out of the ordinary. He already knows what is coming, but this reborn version of Cole is far more cautious than his previous self. He will not allow a single surprise to throw him off. In the darkness, Cole streaks through the sky. As he passes over a street, he suddenly senses something watching him. He freezes midair. Cole looks down. On the streetlight-lit road below, there is not a single person in sight, only a few stray dogs scavenging for food. Seeing this, Cole furrows his brow. Something living was definitely watching him just now. He is high up in the sky in the dead of night. There is no way the naked eye could spot him. He waits for a moment, but the feeling does not return. Cole's gaze drifts to the stray dogs below. Nothing unusual about them, so he moves on. About 30 minutes later, a yellow dog beside a trash can spits out the food in its mouth. Then this ordinary-looking, scrawny mutt lets out a deep, exasperated sigh. What the actual hell? What in the world was that thing? Flying around in the sky in the middle of the night. If I had looked away even a second later, he would have spotted me. At the thought, Goldie instinctively glances back up at the sky. Just one look and he nearly wets himself, because Cole has somehow come back. He hovers in the sky, looking straight down at Goldie, a cold smirk on his lips. Woof! Goldie yelps in terror, scrambles onto all fours and bolts into the alleyways like a golden blur, zigzagging through every turn, using the maze-like terrain to escape Cole's line of sight. But then something feels horribly wrong. His legs are gradually slipping out of his control. Goldie curses out loud. He watches in absolute horror as his own body runs right back the way it came. Under a streetlight, Cole stands waiting in silence. Moments later, Goldie arrives in front of him, shaking with terror. Looking at this dog with its remarkably expressive face, even Cole feels a flash of surprise. He had heard stories in his previous life about animals accidentally consuming spirit seeds and becoming transcendent creatures, but he had never seen one in person. The fundamental problem was that these unintelligent transcendent creatures, once they gained power, had no idea how to use it, so they would often die in the most absurd ways. Accidental deaths like trying to run but launching themselves off a cliff from sheer force, drowning in rivers, or slamming into walls. But the Goldie standing before him is nothing like those mindless creatures from Cole's memories. This dog was spying on him, showed fear, tried to flee, and its eyes even convey complex emotions. All of this proves one thing. This dog has intelligence. With that in mind, Cole addresses Goldie. I am going to release my hold on you and ask you some questions. If you can understand me, do not run. If you run, he pauses and glances at a stray dog nearby that is eating scraps. In the next instant, that dog is silently sliced into a pile of raw meat. If you run, I will take it as a sign you don't understand me, and you will end up just like that. Hearing Cole's words and seeing what just happened, Goldie's entire body shudders. Wisps of shadow that Goldie cannot see flow out of his body and dissolve into the night. Then he feels it, control returning to his body. With sheer willpower, he forces his 4 trembling legs to stay put. Goldie rises up on his hind legs, clasps his front paws together, and bows. Tears stream down his face as he cries out, Master! Master, please spare my life. I have never done anything bad. Heaven and earth can vouch for my innocence. Cole stares at the talking dog before him, genuinely surprised. You can talk? Yes, master, I can only understand human speech at first, not speak it. But as a stray dog living on these streets for a year, constantly listening to people talk, and sometimes digging books out of the trash to read, I gradually picked up human language. Goldie's speech is clear and fluent, practically indistinguishable from a normal person. Cole studies him in silence for a moment, then asks with growing interest, Do you remember what you ate that turned you into this? Goldie hesitates before answering sheepishly. Well, master, here's the thing. I used to be just an ordinary stray dog. One time, while digging through a trash can for food, I found a small bead that was giving off a faint glow. I accidentally swallowed it, and after eating that little bead, I gradually started getting smarter. Hearing this, Cole lets out a sigh. That bead-shaped spirit seed was obviously mistaken for a child's toy and tossed in the trash. Have you noticed any special abilities you have? Cole asks, studying Goldie closely. Special abilities? Goldie seems to ponder the meaning behind Cole's question. After a moment, he answers cautiously. I'm really fast and super strong. What else? I'm a really fast learner when I read books. Does that count? Cole nods. Go on. I can also... As he says this, Goldie's eyes suddenly emit a flash of eerie light, gone in an instant. Cole, who is looking straight into those eyes, feels his mind jolt violently, and briefly loses consciousness. Seeing this, Goldie bares his teeth in a grin. Then he lunges, jaws wide open, straight for Cole's throat. Damn transcendent. If a freak like me gets captured, I'm dead anyway. Might as well go big or go home. All or nothing. Crunch. Goldie's teeth do not reach Cole's neck. Instead, they clamp down on a chair that is materialized out of thin air in front of Cole. What the hell? Is this thing his ability? Impossible. I clearly shut down his consciousness. Wait, this guy activated his power in that split second before blacking out. No time to think. Goldie's attack has failed. He knows there will be no second chance. He turns and bolts. Only 3 seconds pass before Cole's blank eyes snap back to clarity. He stares coldly at the empty space before him, then vanishes into thin air. Moments later, inside a deserted courtyard, Goldie's screams echo non-stop. After several dozen minutes, Goldie, his head swollen to twice its size, kneels before Cole, crying and begging for mercy. Master, stop! I give up! I truly surrender! Cole looks down at him with killing intent and speaks in a frigid tone. I will ask you one last time. How did you end up like this, and what exactly is your ability? Goldie answers in a frantic rush. Master! Everything I said before was the truth. I became like this because when I was still astray, I ate a glowing bead from a trash can. My ability is tied to consciousness. Not only does it give me a perfect memory and incredible learning speed, it also lets me use eye contact to make anyone I lock eyes with go momentarily blank. So that is how it works. The spirit seed's power is linked to consciousness. No wonder it unlocked his intelligence. Cole ponders this silently. Then he presses further. You just used the word transcendent. How do you know about transcendence? Hearing this, Goldie hesitates before answering. I overheard it from the Dahu city director. That's what you guys call them internally, right? I followed that guy for a long time. He is a useless fool. Never once noticed a dog eavesdropping on him all the time. At this point, Goldie flashes Cole a flattering grin. You, Master, are on a whole different level. You were way up in the sky and I only glanced at you once and you caught me instantly. After hearing all of this, Cole looks at Goldie and asks suddenly, since you have been tailing the Dahu City director for so long, you must know what's going on in Dahu City. Those Outlander creatures, do you know where they are? At these words, Goldie falls silent. Not only that, but his eyes betray a terror he cannot hide. After a moment, he nods. Yes, I do know a place where Outlander creatures are. Take me there. Hearing this, Goldie tucks his tail between his legs and shakes his head violently. No way! If they find us, we are dead for sure, and that means I die too. Relax. I just want to take a look. Goldie tries to refuse again, but one look at the killing intent in Cole's eyes and all resistance drains from him. Clearly, between dying right now and gambling that they won't be detected, the bet is worth taking. Then you have to follow my lead. From what I know, they can sense everything within at least a 1-kilometer radius. That includes the energy a transcendent gives off when using abilities, hostility directed at them, or prolonged staring. This intel catches Cole off guard. How do you know all this? A flicker of unease crosses Goldie's swollen face. He hesitates, then stammers out a reply. The thing is, my ability gave me extraordinary intelligence, but it also came with a downside. I have this overwhelming urge to investigate anything unknown, whether it's knowledge or anything else. There was a period when I just could not contain my curiosity about these creatures from beyond Blue Star, so I took the risk and followed them. Everything I just told you, I happened to overhear from them directly. Cole looks at this dog with a peculiar expression. He has to admit, this dog may be a coward, but he has serious guts. Clearly, Goldie once disguised himself as an ordinary stray and got close to the Outlander creatures. And those creatures never even noticed this extraordinary dog. With that thought, Cole grabs Goldie and the two of them vanish from the courtyard. Under Goldie's guidance, they quickly arrive at a bustling commercial district. Bordering Songnan district, skyscrapers tower in every direction. The area is thriving. Stop. This is close enough. Don't fly any further. As Goldie's panicked yelp trails off, one man and one dog appear silently in the night, on top of an office building's rooftop. Goldie's eyes dart around frantically, his swollen face tight with tension. Then he raises a paw and points. There is a private club over there. What you are looking for is inside. Cole carefully scans the surroundings, then follows Goldie's direction and fixes his gaze on a building nearly 2 kilometers away. The club sits on prime real estate, surrounded by vast lawns that isolate it from the city bustle. Clearly, whoever is behind this club has very deep pockets. Seeing Cole stare at the place, Goldie whispers a warning. Don't stare at them for too long, and absolutely no hostility. Even though we are over a kilometer away, who knows if their sensing range has grown? But Goldie's warning does not make Cole look away. In fact, a strange smile spreads across Cole's face. Relax. They are way too busy to notice us right now. What do you mean? Seeing Cole's cryptic expression, Goldie's intense curiosity is instantly triggered. After a moment of hesitation, his eyes begin to glow with a faint blue shimmer. He holds his breath, focuses, and peers toward the club. As the blurry image sharpens into focus, Goldie's eyes go wide. Through the club's massive floor-to-ceiling windows, the two of them can see the interior in crystal-clear detail. Inside the main hall, a wild, debauched party is in full swing. Holy, what? Goldie stares at the scene, completely dumbfounded, at a total loss for words. Compared to him, Cole's expression is far more composed. 24 people, 4 men, 20 women. Judging from the women's expressions and behavior, it is obvious their minds are being controlled. Of the 4 men, 2 are ordinary humans, which means the other 2 must be the Outlanders you mentioned. Goldie looks at Cole in stunned disbelief. You're saying all those women are being controlled? Cole nods. Goldie shakes his head with a sigh. Then, as if remembering something, he quickly blurts out, worse than animals. After that outburst, Goldie takes another long, careful look inside the club. Sure enough, most of the women are barely in their early 20s, every single one stunning in both face and figure. Some of them have empty, lifeless eyes, yet pain still lingers on their faces, tears still clinging to the corners of their eyes. Just as Goldie is about to say something more, the next scene fills him with confusion. A man with bright green hair extends his right index finger and presses it against the chest of the woman in his arms. Blood slowly seeps out around the fingertip until his entire finger has sunk into her chest. The man pulls his finger out, opens his mouth and savors the heart blood on it with a look of pure ecstasy. The woman in his arms, despite the finger-sized hole now in her chest, keeps smiling the entire time, like a puppet. After licking the blood clean, the man places his palm over the wound. Moments later, when he lifts his hand, the hole in her chest has vanished completely, as if it were never there. What are they doing? Goldie stares at what just happened in utter shock. When I was tailing green hair before, I never saw him do anything like this. Has he turned over a new leaf? Turned over a new leaf? Ha! Cole lets out a string of cold laughs. That so-called healing you just saw is nothing but a trick. These women are ordinary people. With their hearts damaged like that, they will be dead within a month. Goldie sucks in a sharp breath. So that is why they used to tear people apart alive. I was wondering why they suddenly seemed so gentle. If what you are saying is true, their methods of covering their tracks are getting more terrifying by the day. Inside the club, the two overweight middle-aged men are already panting and out of breath, drenched in sweat. They stumble over to a sofa where a man sits with his legs crossed and begin making pleasantries. One of them clasps the man's hand and grins. Mr. Zane, thank you for the hospitality. If we hear anything, we will be sure to pass it along at the first opportunity. Absolutely, the classification level on transcendent missions keeps getting higher and higher up top. Getting accurate intel directly is no longer possible. We can only piece things together from scraps. The other man drains his glass of expensive wine in one gulp and speaks with a smile. No worries, the thought is what counts. We are always friends. Zane raises his wine glass and returns their toast with a smile. The two men exchange a few more courtesies, then Zane personally escorts them to the door and watches them drive away. When he returns inside, Greenhair speaks up with clear annoyance. Zane, those two are useless. Why waste this kind of treatment on them? Zane glances at the young man, then at the women still in the room and responds flatly. How I operate is not for you to decide. Now get them dressed and sent home, quickly. Hearing this, Greenhair shrugs. Fine, I'll send them back right now. Greenhair extends both hands, fingers spread wide. A pale yellow glow radiates from his palms and spreads until it covers everyone in the room. Alright, sweethearts, the fun is over for tonight. Head home, everyone. Don't be late for work tomorrow. As his words fade, the 20 women inside begin putting on their clothes one by one, then file out like lifeless puppets. Up on the rooftop, Cole and Goldie watch the scene in silence. Neither says a word. How can you just stand there watching? Shouldn't you be charging in, playing the hero? Just then, a silky, alluring voice drifts from behind Cole. Cole whips around. Not far behind him stands a figure in perfect stillness. A woman in a black, traditional-style gown. A thin veil covers her face, hiding her features, revealing only a pair of luminous, piercing eyes. Everything about her, from the ancient attire to the way she appeared without a sound right behind Cole, radiates an unsettling strangeness. Goldie puts on his dumb dog act on the outside, but inside he is absolutely terrified. He cannot imagine, at this range, if she decided to attack, the two of them would be dead before they even knew what hit them. Cole's fingers curl slightly at his sides. He studies the woman in black, his mind racing, searching every memory for anything that matches her. As Cole studies her, she studies him right back. And then something strange happens. The woman in black, the instant she sees his face, stumbles backward several steps in rapid succession. Not only that, but the playful smile in her eyes is replaced by pure shock. Her voice trembles. Seeing her reaction, Cole furrows his brow and asks directly, "Who are you?" The woman in black stares at him, silent for a full 30 seconds, before finally letting out a long, slow breath. So, the time has come. She gazes at Cole once more, this time studying every detail of his face until he feels thoroughly uncomfortable. Then she extends her slender, pale fingers, reaching to touch Cole's face. Goldie watches this scene in frozen disbelief. Cole's own heart jolts, because this woman has just closed a gap of over 10 meters in the blink of an eye. A puzzled murmur escapes her lips, because her fingers are stopped by an invisible force. In the next instant, she yanks her hand back and drifts backward like a phantom. At the same time, the ground where she had been standing splits open with several deep gashes, silent as death. Cole's face darkens. He glares at the woman in black. His attack was dodged as if it were nothing. Looking at Cole, the woman lets out a soft, melancholy sigh. I mean you no harm, and I have no desire to fight you. Hearing this, Cole does not lower his guard. He keeps his eyes locked on her and asks in a frigid tone, "Who the hell are you?" The woman gazes at Cole quietly and replies in a soft voice, "My name. You may call me Yunshi." Cole frowns slightly, turning the name over in his mind, but finds no match in his memories. You are not a transcendent, but you carry no trace of the Outlanders either. What exactly are you? After a pause, Cole drops this bombshell. Goldie, still playing dumb nearby, clenches up in fear. His mind races in panic. Not human, not an Outlander. Then what is she? A ghost? A demon? Hearing Cole's question, Yunshi lets out a soft chuckle. It is getting late, and I would rather not interfere with what you are here to do. If fate brings us together again, we can have a proper talk. With that, Yunshi holds Cole's gaze, while stepping backward with feather-light feet. Then, like a specter, she falls backward off the rooftop into the darkness and vanishes. Watching her disappear into the night, Goldie stammers out a question. Is she a demon or a ghost? Cole stares into the darkness ahead and shakes his head. I don't know. Goldie shivers from head to tail. This world is getting crazier by the day. Cole glances down at him and says pointedly, it certainly is. With that, Cole and Goldie vanish from the rooftop. On a quiet street, Cole brings Goldie back to where he originally found him. Stay here for now. I will come back soon to have you do something for me. Do not even think about running. Otherwise, Cole pauses and looks down at Goldie's shadow on the ground, then flashes him a smile. That devilish grin makes Goldie clamp his tail between his legs instantly. Master, you have my word. I won't move an inch from this spot. I'm not going anywhere. Goldie springs up on his hind legs and declares his oath at the top of his lungs. Cole nods in satisfaction, then vanishes on the spot. The next day, just as expected, the drink vendor does not show up. Seeing this, Cole finds another spot to kick back and chill. Just as he unfolds a lounge chair he bought, ready to sunbathe on the school rooftop, his phone suddenly rings. He pulls it out and checks the screen. It is Serena. The moment Cole picks up, Serena's voice comes through. Cole, are you free right now? I'm near Mingley High School. Can we meet? Cole hears this and a subtle smile crosses his lips. Sooner than expected. It seems Serena has already figured out who he is. After a brief moment of thought, he agrees. Sure, name the place. Shortly after, inside a private room at an upscale tea house near Mingley High School, Cole finds Serena sitting alone in the booth. Cole! The moment she sees him, Serena springs to her feet and greets him with a warm smile. This place doesn't look cheap, Cole teases her as he looks around. Today, Serena is wearing an off-shoulder gown that makes her look absolutely stunning. You're joking, Cole. If I owned this place, having you walk through the door would be my greatest honor. Serena waves the waiter away, then personally pulls out a chair for Cole, smiling as she does so. So tell me, what did you want to see me about? Cole sits down and cuts straight to the point. Serena takes a seat beside him, pours him some tea, and speaks with a smile. I'll be honest with you, Cole. Actually, I know you are a transcendent with HQ and the director of Dejo City. Cole, mid-sip, looks at Serena with a hint of surprise. How did you find that out? Serena fiddles with her teacup, looking slightly embarrassed. Well, I am the eldest daughter of the Ashford family. You're new to HQ, so you might not know yet. My grandfather is General Ashford, commander of the Southern Military District. In a way, we are both on the same side, serving the nation. Cole's expression clears with understanding. He nods with a smile. I see. No wonder you don't seem scared of me anymore. You already looked me up. Serena's cheeks flush at his words. Cole is right. It was only after learning Cole's identity and background that she finally let go of her fear. I investigated you without your permission. Cole, I'm sorry. She bows her head in apology. Don't worry about it. Cole waves it off. If we are on the same side, it is really no big deal. Seeing Cole completely unfazed, Serena lets out an inner sigh of relief. After hearing his words, her smile grows even more radiant. Cole, actually there is something I wanted to ask you about. What is it? Cole asks curiously. Serena speaks with a hint of shyness. Next week is Dream's 18th birthday celebration. My grandfather wants to invite you to our home. You saved my life and he wants to thank you in person. Thank me? More like recruiting me. Cole scoffs inwardly but politely declines on the surface. That time was nothing special. I believe anyone with the ability to help would have done the same. There is really no need for General Ashford to personally apologize. Hearing this, Serena's admiration for Cole grows even more. Cole, please don't say that. A life-saving debt weighs heavier than a mountain. My grandfather is getting old. When he heard what you did, he was deeply grateful. He insists on thanking you himself. His health hasn't been great. As his granddaughter, I really don't want him to carry any regrets. By the end, Serena's eyes are filled with sorrow. Cole sees through this display, fully aware of her true intentions. He pretends to hesitate before finally nodding. All right, since you put it that way, I will pay a visit next week. Seeing Cole agree, the tension in Serena's heart melts away. Joy lights up her face. Cole, thank you so much. It's nothing. The two of them chat casually after that. Serena never once mentions Victor throughout the conversation. This raises Cole's opinion of the woman sitting before him. After all, some things are only a problem once spoken aloud, but once they are, they can never be taken back. After sitting together for a while, the two leave together. At the tea house entrance, Serena walks up to a black luxury car and opens the rear door. She turns to Cole with a warm, parting smile. Cole, I should get going. I won't keep you from your work. See you next week. Cole glances inside the car, locking eyes briefly with Dream sitting quietly in the back seat. Then he turns to Serena with a look of surprise. You even know about that? Serena turns and steps close to Cole. She lowers her voice. My grandfather told me this mission is extremely dangerous. So please, Cole, be careful. Cole glances at Dream sitting quietly in the back seat and immediately understands. They are clearly preparing to leave Dahu City. Serena turns and bends to get into the car, but right at that moment everything changes in an instant. In the distance, a massive jet-black pillar of light erupts skyward, piercing the clouds like a beam of dark fire. Boom! A deafening explosion follows. In this moment, every single person around turns to stare at the towering dark pillar. Serena looks up as well, stunned by what she sees, frozen in place. Cole stares at the pillar. His pupils contract. It's here, he thinks. This day came far sooner than expected. The crowd snaps out of their shock. People scream in panic. What is that? Is there a war? Is it a nuclear leak? At the same time, the dark shadow at the top of the pillar begins to spread, then unfolds like a colossal black umbrella, rapidly descending and covering everything beneath it. Cole, what is that? Serena looks at Cole, her voice trembling. After all, she has spent years helping General Ashford manage affairs, so she knows full well that this pillar could not possibly be created by any existing technology or weapon. Cole shakes his head, eyes fixed on the pillar. I don't know, but it's definitely nothing good. Get out of Dahu City, now. With that, Cole dissolves into a streak of dark light and vanishes from the spot. The onlookers around them stare wide-eyed in disbelief. Approximately 2 hours earlier, Songjiang District, the most bustling and densely populated area in Dahu City, is naturally one of HQ's top priority zones. Valor strolls aimlessly along the pedestrian walkway of the Cross River Bridge. Beside him walks a woman munching on bread and sipping milk tea. Seriously, Flora, don't you ever get tired of drinking that stuff? And besides, you're a transcendent. You don't even need to eat. Looking at the woman beside him, Valor grumbles. Flora rolls her eyes at him. Sure, I can survive without eating. But do you know what the joy of eating means? Eating food and drinking milk tea doesn't just fill your stomach. It makes your mouth happy and your mood great. Besides, ever since I became a transcendent, eating has become even better. No need to worry about gaining weight. Eat whatever I want, as much as I want. You know, all that just wastes your time and energy. You'd be better off training. Valor shakes his head. In his view, the time spent eating and drinking could be spent doing something meaningful. Flora is visibly annoyed. Then something occurs to her. She leans in close and whispers, "Hey Valor, you say eating is a waste of time. So does that mean you and your wife doing that thing? Is that a waste of time too?" Valor's face turns beet red. He glares at Flora. "Oh my, don't tell me becoming a transcendent made you lose all feeling in that department." Flora puts on a deliberately shocked expression. "Shut up. I'm perfectly fine." Flora is about to say more, but her gaze is suddenly drawn to the back of a man standing at the railing of the bridge. Valor notices the change in Flora's expression and immediately goes on alert. "What is it, Flora?" Flora stops in her tracks. She turns and stares at the man facing the river with his back to them. Then she whispers to Valor, "Valor, look at that man." Valor looks at the man Flora is pointing to. He studies him carefully, then asks, puzzled, "What about him?" "I don't see anything special." Flora tosses her milk tea and bread into a nearby trash can. Then she speaks, her voice tinged with sadness. "Look at his silhouette and posture. Doesn't he look just like Reed?" Valor freezes. Then he shakes his head with a sigh. "Reed? There's no way that's him. Reed gave his life to deliver Outlander intelligence to us. He's dead." Hearing this, sadness flickers in Flora's eyes. As some of the earliest transcendents to join HQ, the three of them had been very close. Reed and Valor both reached the second order last year. Only Flora remained at the first order. If only Reed were still alive. Shaking her head, Flora starts walking again with Valor. But right then, the man with his back to them makes a single gesture that stops Flora dead in her tracks. The man crushes his half-finished cigarette between his left thumb and ring finger, then wipes his face with his right hand, as if brushing away tears. Flora's entire body shudders. She spins around and marches straight toward the man. Valor hurries after her. Reaching the man from behind, Flora suddenly calls out. The man's body goes rigid. He turns around stiffly, looking at Flora before him. His sorrowful face freezes in surprise. He averts his gaze and speaks in a trembling voice. "You have the wrong person." Valor gets a clear look at the man's face now. Completely ordinary. Nothing like Reed at all. "Flora, you've got the wrong guy." Valor offers the man an apologetic smile and reaches to pull Flora away, but Flora shakes off his hand. She stares intently at this stranger, confusion flashing in her eyes. His silhouette and habits are exactly the same. So why doesn't his face match the man she remembers? The man tries to leave with an uneasy expression, but Flora grabs his arm. Then, in one swift motion, she yanks up his shirt. She moves too fast for the man to react, and what she sees changes everything. On his abs sits a thumb-sized black mole. Flora's eyes instantly well up with tears. She throws herself into the man's arms, crying as she speaks. "Reed, I knew it was you. Even if you changed your face, I would still recognize you." The exposed man begins to tremble all over. He wraps his arms around Flora and speaks in a shaking voice. "Flora, weren't you overseas on a mission? Why are you here too?" Flora looks up through her tears. "I heard you were dead, so I applied to HQ to come back and join this mission. To avenge you." Hearing this, his eyes instantly turn red. He grips her shoulders. "I'm alive. There's no need for revenge. Listen, you need to leave. Get out of Dahu City right now." He shoves Flora away. "Reed, why?" Flora does not understand. Click. Right at that moment, the sound of a gun being cocked rings out. Flora turns around and sees Valor pointing his gun directly at Reed, his face dark as thunder. "Valor, what are you doing? That's Reed!" Flora stares at Valor in disbelief. She knows his ability well. The gun in his hand is nothing like an ordinary weapon. Valor's ability is material enhancement, so the bullets in his gun are devastating in both power and hardness, absolutely terrifying. Even transcendents are vulnerable to them. "What am I doing?" Valor snarls at Reed with a twisted expression. "Damn you, Reed, you actually betrayed HQ. You betrayed your country." "What?" Flora's mind goes completely blank. "Valor, what are you saying? He's Reed. He's our comrade. How could he possibly— Shut up, Flora!" Before she can finish, Valor's roar cuts her off. "Use that lovesick brain of yours and think for a second. This guy told HQ he was exposed and would die. Then he hides here under a fake identity? He's obviously working with the Outlanders." Hearing Valor's words, Flora feels ice spread through her veins. He's right. Reed was a trained operative. Now that she thinks about it, the inconsistencies are obvious. If Reed hadn't betrayed HQ, why didn't he come back? Why didn't he report that he was alive? Instead, he urged HQ to send Transcendence here as fast as possible. And if Reed truly has betrayed HQ and the nation, then this entire mission is a trap. This is definitely a trap. A trap designed specifically for HQ, meant to lure a massive number of Transcendents right into it. The more she thinks, the colder the dread grows inside her. She looks at Reed, and instinctively steps back. Reed gazes at his former friends. Two streams of tears roll slowly down his cheeks. "I'm sorry, Flora. Valor, please go. Any later and it will be too late." Why, Reed, why? HQ treated you well, you had a good life, and you threw it all away to become a traitor to your own people? No, you're even worse than a traitor. Valor is shaking with fury from head to toe. I had no choice. I really had no choice. I didn't want this either. You haven't been through what I've been through. You can't understand what they did to me. The Outlanders' methods are beyond horrifying. I simply had no way out. Under Valor's barrage of insults, Reed finally breaks down and begins to sob. Passers-by stop to watch the commotion. Some, seeing the gun in Valor's hand, assume they are witnessing an arrest. To hell with your excuses. The worst that could have happened was dying. All these years I had you pegged wrong. You're nothing but a gutless coward. Valor hesitates no longer. He turns to Flora. Report to HQ now. Tell them Reed is alive. This entire mission is a conspiracy against HQ. Flora finally grasps the gravity of the situation. She fumbles for her communicator with trembling hands and tries to contact HQ. Seeing this, Reed takes a step forward. In an instant, the communicator in Flora's hand melts like mud, and with that same motion, a gunshot rings out. The bystanders scream and scatter in every direction. Valor's bullet cracks through the air with a sonic boom and punches straight through Reed's skull. But Reed, with a gaping hole between his brows, does not fall. He keeps staring at them both and speaks through his grief. Please, I'm begging you. Just go. Get out of here. Valor stares at the grievously wounded Reed, who is somehow still standing as if nothing happened. Shock jolts through him. How is this possible? Even if that shot couldn't kill him, it should have at least crippled him. Reed looks at Valor, then raises a hand and points at his own head. This head is not mine, he says, his voice hollow with despair. My real head is in their hands. As long as my original head exists, I stay alive. And as long as it does, they can keep torturing me. Hard to believe, right? Their methods are more terrifying than you can possibly imagine. You have never experienced my suffering. It is the agony of wanting to die, but being unable to. After hearing Reed's words, Valor feels an icy chill flood his brain. His throat tightens. He stares at Reed, unblinking. He opens his mouth to speak, but at that very moment, a cold, emotionless voice suddenly sounds from behind him. Reed, the plan is about to begin. You may proceed with your task. Hearing that voice, Valor's pupils contract. He slowly turns his rigid neck to look behind him. Not far behind, a man in a dress shirt watches them with eyes devoid of all warmth. Just one look into those eyes and Valor's heart begins hammering uncontrollably in his chest. It is the primal terror of turning your head in a jungle and finding a predator standing right behind you. A fear that feels hardwired into his very bones. Every muscle in Valor's body locks tight. Only one thought fills his mind. This man is definitely an Outlander creature. Flora too stares at the man in the shirt, her face drained of color, cold sweat beating across her forehead. The plan was moved up? Why? It wasn't supposed to start until the day after tomorrow. Hearing the man's words, Reed asks in a trembling voice. You talk too much. When it starts is the young master's decision. All we do is follow orders. The man looks at Reed, his tone dripping with cold indifference. Reed swallows hard. Then he points at Valor and Flora and speaks to the man in a pleading tone. Zane, these two are my best friends. For the sake of everything I've contributed, can you let them go? Just these two. Hearing Reed's plea, Zane turns his gaze back to Valor and Flora. In that instant, Valor instinctively aims his gun at the man. They lock eyes for a moment. A contemptuous smirk crosses Zane's face. Fine, let them go. Reed's face lights up with relief. He turns to them urgently. Valor, Flora, you are no match for him. Go, run. Valor wants to say something, but the words die on his lips. After a moment, he lowers his gun in defeat. He walks to Flora's side and takes her hand. Let's go. Valor turns back for one last long look at Reed, then leads Flora away. After they walk some distance, Flora suddenly begins to cry softly. Valor's own eyes are bloodshot. His jaw clenches so hard his teeth creak. He tilts his head slightly and glances back from the corner of his eye. The Outlander creature is not looking their way. He's talking to Reed about something. After a moment's hesitation, Valor slides his hand into his pocket, grabs his communicator, and starts typing blind from memory, sending a message to HQ. Reed alive. He barely finishes those few characters when he steals another glance behind him and sees Reed staring at him in horror, mouthing something desperately. What makes his blood run cold is that the Outlander creature who is standing in front of Reed has vanished. Valor, watch out! Flora's terrified scream rings out beside him. Valor whips his gun up and fires on pure instinct. At the same time, his left hand inside the pocket slams the send button. Bang bang. Gunfire and the wet sound of tearing flesh ring out simultaneously. Zane tilts his head slightly. The invisible bullet grazes his cheek, drawing a thin line of blood, but his fist punches clean through Flora's hastily raised spirit barrier and obliterates her skull. Then, with a backhand blade strike, he severs Valor's head. Zane is impossibly fast. His precision and timing are flawless, so much so that Valor never gets a second shot. His head sails high into the air. In Valor's wide-open eyes burn shock and bitter regret. In this moment, he is consumed by regret. If only he, a second-order transcendent, had chosen not to walk away. If only he had overcome his fear and fought alongside Flora against this Outlander creature. Even if they had died, it would not have been this meaningless. If they had held out for backup, they might have even won. I can't accept this. Looking at Flora's mangled remains, Valor's consciousness slowly fades to nothing. Flora! Valor! Reed loses his mind. He rushes to Flora's headless body, scoops her up and glares at Zane with burning rage. You promised you wouldn't kill them. Why? Blue light flickers across Zane's hand. The gore coating his fingers vanishes, leaving them spotless. Without answering Reed, Zane glances down at him and says flatly, remember your task. With that, Zane turns and walks away. After just a few steps, his figure vanishes. Reed throws his head back and howls at the sky. Everyone get down! A coin is flicked lazily into the air, spinning as it falls, and caught by a waiting hand. A casually dressed young man sits on a set of steps, flipping the coin over and over. Wraith, are you done playing yet? How much longer do we have to wait? The sultry woman standing beside him pouts at him with a hint of irritation. Tourists snapping photos at this iconic landmark can't help but stare at the pair. Unlike the young man's casual appearance, the woman is alluring and seductive, with a scorching figure, dressed in daringly revealing clothes, her skirt barely reaching mid-thigh, and she does not seem to care in the slightest about the exposure. Patience. Good things come to those who wait. The young man catches the coin again, turns to Vixen and speaks slowly. Guess. Heads or tails? Vixen rolls her eyes but answers anyway. Tails! The young man opens his clenched fist. Vixen looks down. The coin is heads. You lose again. The young man shakes his head and flips the coin once more. If any transcendent from the HQ briefing were nearby right now, they would stare at these two in utter disbelief, because their voices are identical to the two Outlanders who killed Reed in that video. A perfect match. Before long, just as Vixen loses yet another coin toss, a pale-skinned, frail, somber-looking elderly man walks up to the pair. Is it ready? Wraith looks at the elder. The elder speaks evenly. Young master, everything is in place. He bows and produces from his robes a jet-black jade pendant glowing with dark energy. He offers it to Wraith. Wraith takes it, caressing its surface gently, a wicked grin curling at his lips. Perfect. Vixen is thrilled. She bends down and plants a forceful kiss on the old man. Elder Chen, you never disappoint. The tourists around them gawk in shock. Unfortunately, the laws of this world are far too restrictive. The formation array can only reach this level at best. Elder Chen pushes Vixen away and sighs. Wraith smiles faintly. It's more than enough to deal with these insects. They will walk in and die on their own. With that, Wraith begins channeling energy into the jade pendant. Dark light pulses across its surface, growing brighter by the second. He stares ahead with a savage expression and speaks slowly. You love hunting me down, don't you? Come on then. I'll be right here waiting. With a sharp crack, the jade pendant shatters in Wraith's hand. At the same time, Ming Tower behind him shudders violently. Then a jet-black pillar of light erupts from within the tower, shooting into the sky. Back at Transcendent HQ, the conference room door is thrown open. Director Hayes, mid-sentence, is interrupted. He frowns at the intruder. Director, we have a situation. The communications officer rushes to Hayes and shows him the message Valor sent right before he died. Read alive. Hayes stares at the message. Confusion comes first, but moments later his pupils contract sharply. He grabs the officer by the collar with both hands, his voice trembling. Where is Valor? Can we still reach him? The officer stammers. We can't. Hayes feels his mind go blank with a deafening buzz. Director, what happened? People in the room stand up one after another, looking at Hayes, demanding answers. Hayes presses a hand to his forehead. He grabs the officer. Go, get Professor Yang, now! Tell him to come immediately. The officer sprints out the door. Once the officer is gone, Hayes turns back to the room. His voice is drained of all strength. Reed is not dead. He may have betrayed HQ. Worst case scenario, this entire mission is a trap designed to send transcendents to their deaths. Hayes sinks into his chair. His eyes sweep the room with a dark, heavy gaze, lost in thought. Some, hearing the news, go pale and collapse back into their chairs. Damn that traitor. Who was assigned to protect Reed's family? Bring them to HQ. Use them to lure Reed out. This traitor must be punished. Someone roars in fury. No one responds. The conference room falls into a deathly silence. Just then another staff member bursts into the room in a panic. He holds up a tablet, his voice shaking. Director! Director! Look at Dahu City. Something has happened. Hayes grabs the tablet. When he sees the live footage from Dahu City, he freezes. On the screen, a colossal dark barrier has engulfed nearly all of Songjiang New District. Even though Hayes has no idea what it is, even a fool could tell this is catastrophically bad news. At that moment, Professor Yang arrives, dark circles under his eyes. He walks straight to Hayes and looks at the footage on the tablet. The longer he watches, the deeper his frown becomes. Everyone in the room holds their breath, eyes locked on Professor Yang and Hayes. If anyone in the world understands Transcendents and Outlanders, there are very few more qualified than Professor Yang. Professor Yang, what do you think? Hayes asks. Professor Yang thinks for a moment, then looks at Hayes and speaks bluntly. Abandon Songjiang New District entirely. Pull every Transcendent outside the zone back immediately. The moment those words leave his mouth, the entire room goes deathly quiet. What? Hayes thinks he must have misheard. Professor Yang ignores everyone's reactions and continues. This is a trap that uses every person in Songjiang New District as bait. I don't know what this dark barrier does yet, but going inside is guaranteed to be extremely dangerous. Until we have absolute certainty, no Transcendent should enter. Hayes takes 2 steps back from Professor Yang, shaking his head. Songjiang New District has hundreds of thousands of residents. Do you have any idea what will happen if we just stand by and watch them die? Professor Yang falls silent. Of course he knows the consequences. Social upheaval, total loss of public trust. Doing nothing and failing are two very different things. What ordinary people want is not the outcome. It is the effort, the attitude, the fight. But from Professor Yang's perspective, if he had to choose between transcendents and ordinary people dying, he would choose ordinary people without hesitation. Because as long as transcendents survive, humanity still has a fighting chance against the Outlanders. But once all the transcendents are gone, how long can ordinary people last? Let's head to Dahu City first. I'll assess the situation on the ground before making a call. With a sigh, Professor Yang pats Hayes on the shoulder, and so they depart for Dahu City. In Songnan District, Cole appears on a street. He looks up at the sky. The dark pillar in the distance still pierces the heavens, impossible to miss. As time passes, what is happening inside Dahu City sweeps across the globe like a tidal wave. The civilians in the areas surrounding Songjangnu District, who first reacted to the dark pillar with terror, gradually shift to shock and curiosity, pulling out their phones to film. Meanwhile, in a rundown courtyard, Goldie is also staring up at the pillar in bewilderment, completely unaware that Cole has appeared right behind him. Cole delivers a swift kick to Goldie's rear. Before the dog can even react, Cole whisks them both away. Several fighter jets take off from the capital and streak toward Dahu City, hundreds of kilometers away. Inside the lead jet's cockpit, Hayes flies the plane while issuing orders over the radio. Activate Level 1 combat alert, lock down the entirety of Songjangnu District, evacuate everyone within a 50-kilometer radius, establish a wide buffer zone. Also monitor the borders. Have the regional directors tighten security at all major airports, in case foreign hostiles try to exploit the chaos. Professor Yang, seated behind him, works his tablet non-stop, adjusting the live feed angles of the dark barrier, trying to glean any useful detail. Outside their jet, a streak of red light follows at a steady distance. Before long, the jets touch down under the guidance of the first military units to arrive on scene. The moment Hayes steps off the plane without even returning the salute of the waiting commander, he doubles over and vomits. Professor Yang shakes his head. Hayes, your body is falling apart. After a moment, Hayes takes a bottle of water from a nearby staffer, rinses his mouth, and sighs. I'm getting old. To be honest, over the past 2 years, I can really feel my body going downhill. What's the situation? Hayes turns to the military commander, and he says, Sir, we are using every available method to evacuate the surrounding civilians in an orderly fashion. Barring any complications, we should be done within the hour. The sharp young commander responds crisply. Hayes nods and turns his gaze toward the massive dark barrier looming nearby. Seeing it in person for the first time, he finally grasps just how awe-inspiring it truly is. How on earth did they pull this off? Hayes mutters to himself. Professor Yang, studying the barrier beside him, glances at Hayes and smiles. Want to find out? Hayes looks at him and nods. Then let's take a closer look, Professor Yang says with a calm smile, pointing toward the dark barrier. The staff and the military commander all feel a jolt of alarm. They immediately try to talk him out of it. You can't, Director. We have no idea whether this barrier might expand again. Getting too close is extremely dangerous. Director, please, there are already troops scouting the front line. Let's wait a bit longer. We can't afford to lose you. Hayes ignores their pleas and calls out to a young man standing nearby. Glenn, what do you think? Everyone turns to look. A buzz-cut, casually dressed, sunny-faced young man shrugs. I think Professor Yang is right. If you're curious, go look. Who is this guy? When did he even get here? Several people are startled by Glenn's sudden appearance. Good, then let's go. Hayes turns to the commander. Stay here, Professor Yang. Glenn and I will go alone. Despite Hayes' orders to stay put, these people are hardly going to sit around while their highest-ranking leader walks straight into the danger zone. No chance. And so, several military vehicles begin rolling toward the barrier 5 kilometers ahead. When the group dismounts in an open area, they are less than 500 meters from the dark barrier. Above, armed helicopters circle the barrier. On the ground, fully equipped soldiers carry the most advanced detection equipment, observing the black barrier at close range. I'll go check it out. You stay here. You still have too much to handle. And remember, until I return, do not let any transcendent enter. Professor Yang grabs a hazmat suit and suits up quickly. After giving Hayes his instructions, he heads straight for the barrier. Glenn follows close behind as his guard. Hayes nods. He turns to the people around him. If I recall correctly, there were over a dozen transcendents assigned to investigate Songjangnu District. Aside from Valor and Flora who went dark, can we reach any of the others? No, sir, we haven't been able to reach a single one. The comms officer shakes his head. Hayes sighs inwardly. Every single one unreachable. There are only 2 possibilities. Either they are all dead, or the barrier is blocking all signals from the outside. Either way, the outlook is grim. A staffer hurries up to Hayes. Director, all the transcendents outside Songjiang are reachable. Many of them are asking about the situation here. How should we respond? Hayes pinches the bridge of his nose. Then he says, order all second-order transcendents from other districts to get here as fast as possible. First-order transcendents hold their positions. The communications team immediately gets to work. Just then, someone beside Hayes holds up a phone in alarm. Director, this is bad. Look. Hayes takes the phone. On the screen is a live stream from Dahu City. The viewership is astronomical. The comments are flooding in so fast they are unreadable. Mostly people from across the country asking what is happening here. A staffer speaks up. Director, this pillar is so massive that everyone in Dahu City can see it with their own eyes. There are dozens of live streams broadcasting this right now. Hearing this, Chief Joe erupts. What is the Information Bureau doing? If they can't shut the streams down, just cut the entire internet for Dahu City. Someone shakes their head in disagreement. That would be pointless. People can record video offline and upload it later. Besides, at the rate this is spreading, the entire world probably already knows what's happening in Dahu City. Hearing this, Chief Joe's face turns ugly. Regardless, we need to suppress this first. Otherwise, it will shatter the public's understanding of reality and destabilize society. Worst case, we can release some flashier news later to make people forget about this. Do you even hear yourself? Is Dahu City right now comparable to anything we've dealt with before? Hundreds of thousands of people are trapped. Millions can look up and see this pillar piercing the sky. Across the country, across the globe, there could be a billion people watching this live right now. Tell me, what news could possibly be big enough to make them forget what happened today? The end of the world? The two of them go back and forth, their argument escalating with every word. Hayes does not interrupt, he just watches. Then his phone rings. The ringtone silences the two quarrelers instantly. Hayes looks at the caller ID and a bitter smile crosses his face. Seeing his expression, everyone around him holds their breath. The moment Hayes picks up, sure enough, a barrage of furious questions erupts from the other end. What are you doing, Hayes? What the hell is going on in Dahu City? Do you have any idea what kind of impact this will have on the nation? This isn't just a domestic issue anymore. The entire world is watching. I have already received calls from over a dozen heads of state demanding to know what is happening. I put Transcendent HQ in your hands to solve problems for this nation, not to create them. By the end, the voice on the other end grows dangerously low. Hayes is silent for a moment, then speaks. This time, it was my failure. I did not treat this mission with enough caution, and we have been backed into a corner. I will do everything in my power to turn this around. Regardless of the outcome, I take full responsibility. The voice on the phone fires back. If hundreds of thousands of people die, can you bear that responsibility? Even executing you 10,000 times wouldn't be enough. Hayes, what is your plan? Let me hear it. If you don't have one, fly back right now and I will send someone to replace you. Hayes thinks for a moment, then speaks slowly. This time, I am not going to suppress the information. In fact, I will personally step forward and explain everything to the public. I will tell them this is the work of Outlander creatures. Continue. The truth about Transcendence and Outlanders was never going to stay hidden forever. The nation would have to face this moment eventually. Since that is the case, we might as well use this crisis to reveal everything to the world. This gives us two advantages. First, we are here to save everyone in Songjiang District. That puts us firmly on the side of justice. Second, we can use this opportunity to rally civilian Transcendents to join the rescue. This will minimize casualties among HQ's own Transcendents. After hearing Hayes out, the other end goes silent for a while before a voice finally responds. Those hundreds of thousands of people must be saved. That is fundamental to social order. But HQ's Transcendents cannot sustain heavy losses either. That is the future of this nation. So Hayes, your best course of action is to find a way to eliminate those Outlander creatures as fast as possible. As long as you win, there is still room to salvage this. I will be waiting for your report. With that final sentence, the line goes dead. Everyone near Hayes stares at the ground, pretending they heard nothing. Meanwhile, on the rooftop of an office building dozens of kilometers from the dark pillar, one man and one dog sit on the ledge, legs dangling over the edge. Goldie turns to Cole with a look of pure disbelief. What did you just say? You're saying HQ will use this to expose the existence of Transcendents and Outlanders to the entire world? How is that possible? Even I, a dog, know what kind of shockwave that news would send through ordinary people. Society would descend into total chaos. Cole lets out a cold laugh. In an era where Transcendents and Outlanders keep multiplying, full exposure is only a matter of time. Better to take the initiative now than be caught off guard later. As long as Hayes personally addresses the world and frames HQ as the righteous force fighting Outlander creatures, it won't just show ordinary people where HQ stands. It will also draw in and rally civilian Transcendents to join the rescue. By waving the banner of serving the greater good, they get those hidden Transcendents to fight and die for the cause while reducing HQ's own losses. The people running HQ aren't strong because of raw power. They are strong because they can manipulate hearts and minds, turning any crisis to their advantage. Goldie is completely stunned. Even though he considers himself well-read and smarter than most humans, after hearing Cole's analysis, he feels his dog brain is hopelessly outmatched. You don't even look that old. How do you know all this? Goldie stares at Cole, unable to suppress his burning curiosity. Cole does not answer. Why does he know? Because in his previous life he witnessed everything that happened here. In that life, HQ fell into the exact same trap set by Reed and the Outlanders, cornered and out of options. Hayes had no choice but to reveal the existence of Transcendents and Outlanders to the world, using it as a rallying cry to personally livestream and call upon every capable Transcendent in the nation to help exterminate the Outlander creatures and save hundreds of thousands of lives. Cole did not know the details of that battle, but he knew the outcome. HQ won, but it was a Pyrrhic victory. Nearly every second-order Transcendent who entered the Dark Barrier was annihilated inside. Countless civilian Transcendents answered the call too. Most of them never even left their names behind. They went in and never came out. One third-order Transcendent also fell in that battle, a cornerstone of HQ's power. If the S-rank Transcendent Celine had not appeared and turned the tide, the outcome of that battle would have been uncertain. Thinking of Celine, Cole murmurs silently to himself. Celine. In my last life you broke through to the third order and saved everything, but right now you are only at the second order. So unfortunately, the one who turns the tide this time around cannot be you. His thoughts return to the present. Cole pulls out his phone and checks it. He ignores messages from Tessa and Serena. He sends Stella a quick message, "I'm safe, don't worry." Then he opens a video app. Sure enough, just as he predicted. Goldie leans in to watch too and lets out a yelp of surprise. Wow, you actually called it. They really went live. The video shows Director Hayes addressing the camera. This is an official government livestream and the viewership numbers are astronomical. Behind Hayes in the video looms the dark barrier. This angle alone proves he is standing at ground zero. Hello everyone, my name is Hayes. I currently serve as the director of the National Security Bureau. Today, through this broadcast, I want to explain certain things to all of you. Hayes' words are simple, yet they cut straight to the heart of the matter and resonate with every listener. At the end, when the nation is in peril, every man must answer the call. When our people face extinction, those with power must stand and fight. I am here on the front line. I call upon all who have the strength to come and fight alongside us and save our people. As he finishes, Hayes bows deeply to the camera. Behind him, rows of personnel appear, some in military uniforms, others in suits. Together they stand behind Hayes and bow to the camera as one. Up on the rooftop, Goldie stares at Cole as if he has seen a ghost. It happened exactly the way you said it would. Cole closes his phone. He stands at the edge of the rooftop and gazes into the distance. Seeing Cole get up, Goldie quickly asks, "We've seen enough. Shouldn't we head back now?" "Head back?" Cole looks at him with a knowing smile. "You think I brought you here just to enjoy the breeze?" Seeing that look on Cole's face, a terrible feeling creeps into the pit of Goldie's stomach. He stammers. Then why?" Cole points at the dark pillar and smirks. "You heard what Hayes just said, didn't you? Those with strength should do their part. So naturally, we are going to join in on the fun." Goldie feels as though someone just slapped a noble title right onto his dog head. No! Master, you've got it wrong. You are the one with strength. I am not. I'm just a dog." Cole grabs Goldie by the scruff of his neck and lifts him up. He speaks slowly and deliberately. "Cut the nonsense. It may be dangerous for Transcendents in there, but for a dog like you, it's a different story. After all, neither Outlanders nor Transcendents would pay any attention to a dog showing up behind them. And besides, some of those Outlander creatures carry treasures on them. When the time comes, you get a share." Staring at that devious grin on Cole's face, Goldie's pupils light up. "Wait, are you saying you wanna—" Cole's grin grows even wider. "That's right, exactly what you're thinking." Goldie's eyes start spinning like two little wheels. Cole is right, he is just a dog. Who would ever pay attention to a dog? If he sneaks up behind someone in the chaos, a sly, scheming grin slowly creeps across Goldie's face, spreading so wide it nearly reaches his ears. At the same time, on the ground outside the dark barrier, Professor Yang returns to Hayes. He removes his hazmat suit, takes a bottle of water from a staffer, and gulps down several mouthfuls. Then he looks at Hayes and speaks bluntly. "The dark barrier cannot be destroyed from outside. Neither transcendent abilities nor conventional weapons have any effect. It's like hitting thin air. So if we want to destroy this barrier, either we wait for it to dissipate on its own, or we destroy the dark pillar from the inside." Professor Yang points upward, at the jet black pillar piercing the sky. "There's more. Inside the barrier, there is an unknown black miasma. If ordinary people keep breathing it in, their bodily functions will gradually deteriorate. I had Glenn inhale some of it, and he was completely unaffected." Hearing this, Hayes' eyelid twitches. "So, what you're saying is, the Transcendents trapped inside are not affected, but ordinary people will slowly die the longer they remain inside?" Professor Yang nods. "Correct, unless they stop breathing entirely. Every breath they take is slow suicide." Hayes clenches his fists. He looks at Professor Yang. "The danger inside, is it possible to go in briefly, scout around and come back out?" Professor Yang shakes his head and sighs. "That's exactly the problem. I just sent in 2 teams of soldiers in sequence. The first team 5 men, the second team 10 men. And? Did they come back? What did they see?" Hayes presses urgently. Professor Yang pauses before answering slowly. "The first team went in and never came out. All communication equipment went dead. For the second team, I had them attached to a rope, walk 3 steps forward, then come right back. The rope snapped. The break was jagged as if something had wrenched it apart by force." Hayes' frown deepens with every word. "However, based on my analysis, those soldiers are probably still alive." Professor Yang continues. "The outer layer of the barrier seems to warp space itself. Anyone who steps just a short distance in gets pulled deep inside. The rope was torn apart by spatial force." After hearing all of this, Hayes looks at Professor Yang and asks carefully, "If we send Transcendents in, what are our chances? Or let me put it another way, how can we win this fight while protecting the lives trapped inside and destroy the dark pillar?" This time, Professor Yang stays silent for several full minutes. Everyone waits in tense silence. Finally, Professor Yang rubs his temples and speaks. "I still recommend abandoning this zone. Based on my observations, this barrier should not last much longer. But once Transcendents go in, their fate becomes completely unknown. The Outlanders' goal is crystal clear. They are sitting and waiting for prey to walk in. Against this kind of enemy, we cannot have it both ways. Sacrifices must be made. We have no idea what dangers lie inside, or how many Outlander creatures are waiting. If their true target this time is HQ itself, aiming to use this one opportunity to destroy everything we have spent years building, then what?" Hayes, who has listened in silence, clenches his fist so hard the veins bulge across his knuckles. He lets out a long, heavy sigh toward the sky, then shakes his head at Professor Yang. "Sometimes you have to fight even when the odds are against you. Right now we have only one choice, how to win this battle as fast as possible." Professor Yang says no more. he stops trying to convince him and lays out his terms. If you want the highest chance of winning this fight, then you need a large number of second-order transcendents going in. On top of that, every first-order transcendent rated B rank or above must also join the fight. Once inside, no transcendent operates alone. 5 to a squad, pushing toward the Dark Pillar. And lastly, at least one third-order transcendent must take part in this operation. Hearing Professor Yang's final words, Director Hayes' breath catches in his throat. The staff around him stare at Professor Yang in disbelief. After a moment, the communications officer, prompted by a look from Hayes, speaks up. Enough second-order transcendents. Within 2 hours, HQ can deploy 14 second-order transcendents for this mission. As for first-order transcendents rated B rank and above, we can mobilize around 100. Professor Yang glances at the officer, then turns to Hayes. What about Elder Quinn? Can he be deployed? Hayes thinks for a moment, then slowly shakes his head. This time is different. We have no idea how long it takes to get back out once you enter the Dark Barrier. It is a complete unknown. Elder Quinn must remain at HQ. Without him there, if anything happens to headquarters, the consequences could be even worse than losing this battle. Hearing this, Professor Yang frowns. What about the other 2 third-order transcendents? Even one would do. Hayes shakes his head again. Marshal Jiang is guarding the Premier. He cannot come. As for Titan, I've already tried to reach him. The question is whether he can make it back from overseas in time. Hearing this, Professor Yang clutches his hair in frustration. 2 can't move. 1 can't be found. Seeing Professor Yang like this, Hayes tries to reassure him. Don't worry too much. I have already called on civilian transcendents through the livestream. Let the second and first order transcendents move in first. I will find a way to get Titan back. Professor Yang looks at Hayes. Then without warning, he reaches out and seizes Hayes by the collar. Everyone around jumps in shock. Some try to pull Professor Yang away, but Hayes waves them off. Back away, the professor and I need to talk privately. The others reluctantly step back. Professor Yang stares Hayes down, his face darker than a storm cloud. Hayes, do you know what time it is? If you want to save people, save them. If not, then don't. But what the hell are you playing at? You want to save lives but refuse to deploy third-order transcendents? What is this? Sending first and second-order transcendents to die for show? I am warning you, Hayes, this is not the old days. Do you have any idea what humanity is up against? And you are still playing your damn political games. I know exactly what you are thinking. If the second-order transcendents succeed, great. But if they fail, as long as the third-order transcendents survive, HQ is still HQ. Hayes just listens, offering no defense. The two stare at each other in silence. Then Professor Yang slowly releases his grip on Hayes' collar. If you do not send a third-order transcendent in, this battle cannot be won. Hayes straightens his crumpled collar, then pats Professor Yang on the shoulder with a heavy sigh. He turns to face everyone and issues his orders. Relay this immediately. Second and first order transcendents do not need to rally here. Enter the Dark Barrier directly. Move in squads of 5. Do whatever it takes to destroy the Dark Pillar. Also withhold nothing from civilian transcendents. The room snaps to attention. Yes, sir, they respond in unison. At the same time, Cole also receives the message from HQ. As he reads through it, Goldie peeks over and speaks up, confused. It's all second and first order? Doesn't HQ have third order transcendents? Shouldn't they be the ones going in? Cole lets out a cold laugh. He points at the Dark Barrier ahead. Tell me, doesn't that look like something to you? Goldie is confused. What thing? A gambling table. The moment Cole says those 2 words, Goldie freezes. Then he stares at Cole in disbelief. On this gambling table, the third order transcendents are HQ's last chips, so HQ does not dare to bet them. At this thought, Cole's mind drifts to his previous life and the third order transcendent who died there, Titan. The thing was, Titan did not join this battle on HQ's orders. On the contrary, his participation was entirely his own choice. Cole remembered him because of a single sentence, one that left a deep impression. Those words were recorded by a transcendent who survived the Dahu City outbreak. Titan protected us. He fought 3 Outlander creatures by the Dark Pillar alone. He never retreated. In that battle, Titan fought until his last breath and died. In the end, it was Celine who had entered the battlefield in disguise, who turned the tide, killed those Outlander creatures, and destroyed the Dark Pillar. As HQ's orders go out, transcendents who receive the message begin heading toward the Dark Barrier one after another. Plenty of them are far from happy about it, but under the current circumstances, unless they want to desert HQ, they have no choice but to be swept along into this unknown battlefield. Since the Dark Barrier covers such a vast area, Cole grabs Goldie, finds a secluded corner nearby, and steps straight in. The moment they touch the Dark Barrier, a bone-chilling cold washes over them. A few steps forward, the space ahead warps and distorts, and the scenery before them transforms. The skyscrapers still stand tall all around, but all color has drained from them. The sky is a dim, lifeless gray. The entire world seems frozen in an eternal twilight. On the road where they now stand, countless bodies carpet the ground in every direction. Mangled flesh, severed limbs, and torn body parts lie everywhere. The air reeks of blood. Staring at this apocalyptic scene, Goldie nearly jumps out of his skin. He swallows hard, forcing his trembling legs to stay still. Cole walks ahead. Goldie scrambles to follow close behind. Looking around, the bodies on the ground seem to tell the story of what happened here not long ago. As he keeps looking, Goldie's gaze begins to falter. They have barely walked any distance when he spots at least 20 small-framed bodies. One glance at their young faces tells Goldie exactly how old they were. Just then, Cole stops in his tracks. He crouches down and turns over a face-down body. It is a man who died with his eyes wide open, around 30 years old. Beneath him lies the body of a little girl. Both of them were killed by a single strike that pierced both their hearts at once. One look is all Cole needs to know. This man, a transcendent, died trying to protect this child. Looks like my luck is pretty bad, Cole murmurs, staring at the bodies. Before Goldie can ask what he means, a cold female voice rings out from above. Your luck is indeed pretty bad. I just finished cleaning up these people and hadn't gotten far when I heard your footsteps. If you had come 2 minutes later, you might have lived a little longer. Cole looks up, expressionless, toward the voice. On the rooftop of a nearby shop stands a girl. She wears a white dress, her hair in 2 braids, her features young and innocent looking. The instant Goldie hears the voice, he drops into his dumb stray dog act, sniffing the ground here and there, slowly inching away from Cole. To his immense relief, the outlander creature gives him only a single glance before locking all her attention on Cole. The girl taps her foot lightly and floats down like a white butterfly, landing softly near Cole. On any normal girl, this move might have looked graceful, but Cole's eyes look at her as though she were a rotting carcass. Having dealt with outlander creatures for centuries, he knows this girl's exterior and interior are 2 entirely different creatures. The outlander's most common disguise technique is called replacement. Kill the original soul and take over their life. Seeing this man show none of the expected panic, the girl feels a twinge of disappointment. After all, in her eyes, this kind of low-level prey should be screaming and running, fleeing while she hunts them down. Instead, he just stares straight at her. What is going on? Is this the ignorant fearing nothing? Just as the girl is about to make her move, Cole's voice cuts in first. How many of you are there? The girl looks at Cole in confusion. After a moment, a smile appears on her face, growing wider and wilder until it becomes grotesque. She doubles over laughing, her collar slipping to reveal pale skin beneath. Kid, is there something wrong with your head? You see me and your first instinct isn't to run? Instead, you actually ask me a question? She laughs and wipes tears from her eyes, but when she looks at Cole's expression, the laughter dies, because Cole's eyes are dark and he is staring at her with pure impatience. The girl frowns, about to say something, when she suddenly feels her own eyes move downward against her will. What is happening? Confusion fills her mind, then her pupils shrink to pinpoints, because in the edge of her vision, she can see her own body. No, this guy, the girl realizes in an instant. Her head has been severed, without her even noticing. And what happens next fills her with absolute terror. She watches her own body silently carved into countless pieces of meat. How is this possible? Who are you? Among HQ's transcendents, how can there be someone this powerful? The girl's head rolls across the ground and comes to a stop. Her eyes lock onto Cole as she shrieks. I know every transcendent in HQ. Not even a third-order transcendent could do this so silently. Who the hell are you? Cole walks over to the girl's head, looking down at her without expression. Pathetic. I ask you a question and you don't even answer. Talk. Cole plants his foot on the girl's skull. I will ask one last time. How many of you are there? Feeling the crushing pressure on her face, the girl grits her teeth and cries out. Wait, if I tell you, will you let me go? Cole looks down at her. Then to her surprise, a smile crosses his cold face. Sure, answer my questions and I'll let you go. The girl hesitates, then speaks. You promise? Cole nods. He lifts his foot off her face. I promise. Seeing Cole agree, a spark of hope flickers in the girl's heart. After all, as long as her consciousness survives, her body can slowly regenerate. 16 of us were invited to participate in this hunt against you. 16. Cole turns the number over in his mind. That is more than he expected. You are not all from the same faction, are you? Cole presses on. The moment the girl hears the word faction, her pupils contract. She stares at Cole in surprise. I didn't expect you to know about that. You are right. We are not from the same faction. This time, Wraith is the one who invited us. By the way, Wraith is the outlander creature your transcendent HQ has been hunting all along. He has a special status with 4 guardians following him. Every single one of them is extremely powerful. The girl even helpfully explains Wraith's background for Cole. He invites you and you just show up? Aren't you all supposed to be rivals? Cole's words shock the girl once more. She stares at him in disbelief. This native knows far too much. For a moment she even suspects Cole might be one of her kind. Cole does not give her time to think. He continues his questioning. What exactly are you competing for on this planet? What are you trying to obtain? Competing for what? Obtaining what? After hearing this question, the girl's eyes suddenly drift into deep thought. Her expression gradually becomes lost and confused. She murmurs to herself, yeah, what is our purpose here? Why did I come? All I know is that every living thing on this planet must die. I must defeat all competitors and seize the grand destiny. Seeing her reaction, Cole sighs inwardly, just as he expected. In his previous life, humanity was on the brink of extinction and still never found this answer. How could he possibly learn it so easily now? Why did the Outlander creatures come here? Why did they want to exterminate humanity? That question is one even the Outlander creatures themselves cannot answer. Just then the girl snaps out of her daze. She has already forgotten what she was pondering and continues. Wraith told us he could set up a low-tier formation array and use it as a trap to lure a large number of transcendents in. That way, we would have the advantage inside the formation and could slaughter all of you. We didn't want to work with Wraith at first, but killing transcendents benefits every single one of us. So we came. Hearing this, a thin smile crosses Cole's lips. Wipe out the common enemy first, then fight among yourselves? You lot sure know how to play the game. The girl blinks at his words. Well, when you put it that way, you're right. The existence of transcendence interferes with our internal struggles, and since you keep growing stronger, crushing you before you fully mature is something we absolutely must do. Seeing Cole go quiet, a cold glint flickers in the girl's eyes. Then she puts on a smile. I have answered every question you asked. Now it is time for you to keep your promise. Let me go. Not only will I not oppose you, I can even help you fight Wraith. After all, in a way, he and I are destined to become enemies too. By the end of her plea, a deep of humiliation rises inside the girl. She is actually begging a human for her life. If she could recover just 20% more of her power, she could crush this insect with a flick of her wrist. If only she had not been so careless at the start and had used her divine art immediately, perhaps she would not have ended up like this. But now, with nothing but a severed head, she is completely helpless, surviving only by flattering her captor. Cole looks at her, then he lifts his foot and plants it back on her skull. The girl sees this and her heart seizes. You promised! You can't! Feeling the crushing weight growing on her face, the girl screams in terror. Yeah, I did promise. Cole looks down at her, and a savage grin spreads across his face. But I changed my mind. As the pressure under his foot builds, the girl's skull begins to deform. Blood pours from every orifice. The girl whimpers and curses Cole through clenched teeth. But Cole watches her the way one watches a dying animal whimper. He presses down harder. With a wet pop, the skull is crushed flat beneath his foot. Goldie, watching from a distance, shudders. His understanding of Cole's ruthlessness reaches a whole new level. He trots over to Cole and looks at the shapeless remains. She's dead? An Outlander creature went down that easily? Hearing this, Cole surveys the carnage around them and says flatly, she got cocky from all that one-sided slaughter. If she had been even slightly more cautious from the start, she would not have died so easily. At this, Cole's mind flashes to the mysterious woman in traditional dress he met on that rooftop. Without using any defensive technique at all, she had effortlessly dodged his attack. Just then, several massive explosions echo from their left. Cole glances up at the dark sky, then vanishes from the spot with Goldie. When they reappear, they are atop a tall building. One man and one dog peer downward. Below, a fierce battle is raging. More precisely, 3 Transcendents are ganging up on a single opponent. Boom! The man under siege, his hands blazing with energy, sends shockwaves through the air with every punch he throws, forcing the Transcendents back again and again. The sheer blast of his aura can shatter boulders flying at him from meters away. On the other side, the 3 Transcendents, 2 men and 1 woman. The young-looking girl stands at a distance, her pretty face deathly pale, both hands raised, several boulders orbiting around her. Every now and then, one launches toward the enemy. The other 2 men fight in tandem, engaging the enemy at close range. That man. Cole narrows his eyes at the figure being attacked by 3 Transcendents. Goldie is also taken aback. That's the Outlander from the club. I think his name is Zane. Cole nods. It's him. Then Cole shifts his gaze away from Zane and onto the 3 fighters. Among them, the girl looks vaguely familiar. She was probably at the same briefing session not long ago. Amber, what's the status? Still no signal on the communicator? Rowan, who has just been blasted across the battlefield, picks himself up off the ground and shouts at the girl. At the same time, his hands are covered in dense cracks, with wisps of white smoke seeping from every fissure. The girl controlling the boulders, her mental energy nearly drained, has a face so white it is frightening. On top of that, her hair is plastered to her cheeks, soaked through with sweat. I just checked. Nothing. Even through her exhaustion, she grits her teeth and answers Rowan's question. Rowan's forehead erupts with veins. He screams at Amber. Damn it, you just checked? Then why the hell aren't you checking again right now? It didn't work before, but maybe it does now. We are fighting for our lives out here, and you can't even handle basic support. Use your damn brain. After his tirade, Rowan looks at his companion locked in combat with the Outlander, then down at his own trembling hands. He grits his teeth and charges back in. Amber presses her lips tight. One hand keeps the wobbling boulders in the air. The other fumbles for the communicator in her pocket. The screen reads, no signal. Sweat rolls from her forehead into her eyes, mixing with tears as they spill down her face. From the moment they encountered this Outlander creature and the fight began, she has not let her guard down for a single second. She knows she is only a first-order Transcendent. Her ability is useless in close combat, so she has been giving everything she has to provide cover. But the relentless pressure has pushed her to the edge of collapse. Up on the building, Goldie watches the scene below and clicks his tongue. I have to say, these 3 Transcendents are pretty capable. They're actually going toe-to-toe with Zane. Cole scoffs. Toe-to-toe? Are you blind? Look at Zane's movements more carefully. He is not only dodging both men's attacks, but calibrating his own strikes just enough for them to barely survive. They can't even turn to run. Zane is clearly toying with all 3 of them, using the commotion here to lure other Transcendents in. Hearing Cole's analysis, Goldie stares hard with both dog eyes at Zane's every move. The longer he watches, the more a chill runs down his spine. It is exactly as Cole said. Zane's attacks are perfectly calibrated, deadly enough to be terrifying yet survivable by a hair, but the moment they turn their backs, Zane's next strike will kill them from behind. It is like a man with a knife fighting a wild beast. Face the beast and you have a fighting chance. Turn your back and you are dead. After watching a while longer, a devious grin crosses Goldie's face. This guy wants to lure Transcendents in? He's not worried about capsizing in a ditch? He glances at Cole. After all, this guy just killed an Outlander creature without breaking a sweat. Surely Zane is no match for Cole either. But as Goldie keeps watching, confusion sets in, because he notices Cole has no intention of moving at all. In fact, he seems almost bored, scanning other directions entirely. Hey! Goldie speaks up, puzzled. Aren't you going to? Cole turns to look at him. Goldie gestures toward the battle below. As in, aren't you going to help your... Cole puts on a genuinely confused expression. What do you mean? Goldie has to spell it out. Aren't you going to help your comrades? Cole's confusion only deepens. Help them? Why would I do that? Then what are you doing up here? Cole looks at Goldie and frowns. Killing Zane, obviously. Since these Outlanders are going to be enemies sooner or later, might as well take them out early. On that point, the Outlander I just killed, and I actually agree. Hearing this, Goldie's expression turns strange. Hold on, let me get this straight. You are staying because you want to kill Zane. But since you want to kill Zane, why not go down right now? At least you would have backup. Cole says nothing. He just stares at Goldie the way you would stare at a very stupid dog. What? Did I say something wrong? Goldie gulps. Cole lets out a sigh. Then he points at the fighters below. If I save them, what do I get out of it? Goldie thinks for a moment, then offers cautiously. They could help you fight Zane? Cole shakes his head. These first-order weaklings are useless. If Zane wanted them dead, they would not even have a chance to run. Hearing this, Goldie falls silent. If what Cole says is true, then these three truly bring Cole nothing of value. Maybe a couple of thank yous at best. Just then Cole continues. Besides, if they die here, it actually works out very well for me. Goldie stares at Cole, his expression completely blank. No matter how hard he racks his dog brain, he cannot figure out what Cole means. Benefit? They die and you somehow benefit? Cole nods. Of course. Only when they are all dead will I be the final winner. As he finishes, a dark, knowing smile crosses Cole's face. Seeing that look, Goldie shivers. Now he finally understands what Cole is after. If this battle between HQ and the Outlander creatures is going to produce a winner, then Cole intends to be that winner. Because only the winner reaps the greatest rewards. Down on the battlefield, the other transcendents that the commotion was supposed to lure in never show up. Zane's cold expression grows increasingly impatient. By now the three fighters have also sensed something is wrong. But they cannot run. With no backup in sight, despair takes hold. Amber's face is completely drained of color. Blood begins seeping from every orifice from the extreme overuse of her ability. Just then, in the distance ahead, streams of multicolored light shoot upward, like massive rainbow serpents piercing the gray sky. The spectacle instantly draws the attention of all three fighters and Zane alike. Is that backup? Are those our allies? Amber and the others feel a flicker of hope in their darkest moment. Zane watches the soaring lights and frowns. Someone actually forced him to use that item. Things must be getting interesting over there. He pulls his gaze back and looks at the three once more. Killing intent fills his eyes. Playtime is over. Seeing this, Rowan's heart lurches. This is bad. The other transcendent Hawk cries out in alarm. Thanks to his uniquely sharp instincts, he can clearly sense the terrifying surge of pressure radiating from Zane. That pressure means power, and it means Zane's strength has suddenly multiplied several times over. What is it, Hawk? Rowan keeps his eyes locked on Zane. He shouts his question. Hawk's pupils tremble violently, his voice breaking apart with fear. Amber does not see the terror on their faces because her vision has already blurred. But what happens next forces her eyes wide open. Zane moves, one step forward, his eyes blaze with brilliant blue light. He roars a single command. Lockdown! A pale blue ring expands outward from beneath his feet, instantly engulfing all three of them. Zane throws a single punch. In the next instant, Rowan and Hawk, standing several meters away, are hit by an invisible force that reduces them to pulp on the ground. This horrifying sight shatters everything Amber thought she knew. Her body goes limp. She falls backward onto the ground, a spreading puddle forming beneath her. Zane glances at her, then pulls a steel rebar from a nearby chunk of rubble with zero expression. In a single step, he closes the gap of dozens of meters and appears right in front of Amber. Amber trembles violently. She digs her arms into the ground, dragging her lower body backward. With a wet thrust, Zane drives the rebar effortlessly into Amber's chest. Amber coughs blood. All strength drains from her body. Her arms give out and she falls flat on her back. And because she is lying on the ground, she can see the two dark figures on top of the building. So you were here all along, she whispers to herself. The light in Amber's eyes fades. Her pupils dilate and go still. Confirming the kill, Zane turns to leave. He barely takes a few steps before stopping. He slowly turns around and finds, not far behind him, Cole standing with his hands in his pockets. After a brief exchange of gazes, Zane actually smiles. His cold face cracks into a grin, stiff as it may be. Interesting. So there is someone this strong among the Transcendents. It seems my precious time was not wasted after all. Cole smiles back, his smile dripping with mockery. You seem pretty excited. Of course. The moment I laid eyes on you, every muscle in my body started trembling. Zane's grin grows savage. He grabs his own collar and rips his shirt open. In this moment, Zane's flawless sculpted torso is on full display. He clenches his fist. His joints crack in rapid succession. Cole looks Zane's perfect physique up and down and nods. Nice body. But have you ever heard the saying? Zane raises an eyebrow. What saying? A little exercise attracts the ladies. Too much exercise attracts the fellas. Zane frowns, trying to process what Cole just said. Right at that moment, Zane's upper body snaps backward. Boom. A boulder just behind him is cleaved clean in half. Zane stares at the split boulder, his eye twitching. He straightens up, his gaze turning dark. If his reflexes had been a fraction slower, he would have been cut in two. A renewed sense of danger grips him. Holding his breath and focusing, Zane finally sees Cole's attack clearly this time. Faint dark shadows slice through the air toward him. Zane twists and weaves to dodge. Cole's attacks are vicious and cunning, always anticipating Zane's next move, and those blade-like shadows in this dim twilight world are practically invisible. Damn it! Zane, dancing alone like a madman, feels rage building inside him, especially when he sees the amused, spectator-like look in Cole's eyes. His fury explodes to the breaking point. This bastard is clearly powerful enough to face him in a proper clash between two warriors, but instead he resorts to these cheap and dirty tricks. Lockdown! Zane roars. He ignores Cole's incoming strikes, letting the shadows carve bone-deep wounds into his flesh. His eyes blaze with blue light as a ring of light erupts outward from beneath his feet. But in the next instant, something that stuns Zane happens. The ring of light stops right at Cole's feet. Looking at Cole's half-smiling, taunting expression, Zane's pupils contract sharply. He knows the exact range of my divine art? How is that possible? How does he know? Then a terrifying thought slams into Zane's mind. This bastard was up there the whole time watching me fight those three weaklings. He didn't even try to save his own comrades. But there is no time to dwell on it. Cole's attacks keep raining down. Zane shakes with fury, but there is nothing he can do. Every step forward means taking more hits from Cole, and Cole shamelessly backs away, maintaining the gap between them. Spamming his divine art is not only useless but drains his spirit aura at an alarming rate, leaving him more vulnerable by the second. So he is forced to drop the technique and tank Cole's attacks head-on. What do I do? If this drags on, the odds are stacked against me. As Cole's attacks accelerate, the wounds on Zane's body multiply. His body's regeneration can barely keep pace anymore. I need to get out, now. With that thought, Zane's eyes scan his surroundings. He needs a spot with cover. Just then, in the corner of his eye, he spots a yellow dog wandering behind him with its tail between its legs. One glance at the mutt and his attention moves on. Scanning further, he finally picks his escape route. Up ahead is an alley. Once inside, walls on both sides will give those swarming shadows far less room to deal damage than in open ground. His mind made up, Zane commits to the plan. He tenses every muscle in his body, stops dodging Cole's attacks entirely, and prepares to unleash his divine art to teleport to his chosen spot. But right at that moment, E.T. this sweep kick! With a bellowing shout, something slams into both of Zane's legs. His stance crumbles and he topples backward. Zane's eyes go wide. He stares in utter disbelief at the yellow dog behind him, mid-sweep kick. Before he can react, those dog eyes flash with an eerie glow. Mind lock! Goldie roars. Goldie howls. Zane's mind is slammed by an invisible force and goes momentarily blank. At the same time, Cole appears at his side and smashes his skull with a single punch. Thud. The headless body crashes to the ground. As a precaution against any hidden tricks, Cole severs Zane's arms and legs as well. After waiting a moment and confirming Zane is dead beyond all doubt, Goldie finally lets out a long exhale, calming his wildly pounding heart. That was insane! Goldie says as he scurries over to the corpse and starts rummaging through it with both paws. Watching this, Cole snorts. Don't bother, he has nothing on him. Hearing this, Goldie freezes his paw just as it is about to tug at Zane's underwear. He turns to Cole with a suspicious look. No way, didn't you say these Outlander creatures carry treasures on them? Cole looks at Goldie, then at Zane's nearly stripped body and replies flatly. Some Outlander creatures do carry treasures, but clearly he doesn't have any. Goldie's ears droop with disappointment. Just then, Cole turns his head toward a certain direction. Someone is coming, stay far behind me, don't let anyone notice you. Shadows spread from under Cole's feet, devouring every body and scrap of flesh on the battlefield. Then he hurls Goldie several hundred meters away. Moments later, 5 figures leap into the area one after another. In the lead is a tall, thin man in a black trench coat. He stands on a second-floor rooftop, scanning the surroundings with a dark expression. Seeing only Cole, Gareth fixes him with a wary gaze. Are you with HQ? Cole looks at him and nods. Yes, I am. Gareth continues. I know most of HQ's second-order transcendence by sight. I don't recognize you. So you must be first order. Cole nods again. Seeing the confirmation, Gareth turns to the 4 behind him. Zhang Yifei, Raven, you two attended the recent briefing. Do you recognize this man? At Gareth's question, 2 of them exchange a glance. Then the one called Raven nods. I do. He was definitely at the HQ briefing, a first-order transcendent, because on that day in Dahu City, Cole was the last person to arrive, dropping in from the sky. That left a strong impression on Raven. Hearing this, Gareth relaxes. He leaps down from the rooftop, lands beside Cole, and extends his right hand. Gareth, Director of the South China region, Second-Order Transcendent. Cole reaches out and shakes his hand. Cole, Director of Dezhou City, First-Order Transcendent. After a brief introduction, Gareth gets straight to the point. There was a fight here just now. Do you know what happened? Hearing his question, Cole shakes his head. I was drawn here by the commotion. I hadn't been here long before you all showed up. Gareth surveys the battle scars around them and nods. Looks like they've already moved on. I just hope our comrades aren't losing out there. He turns to Cole. You must know how dangerous this area is. One person's strength has its limits. Why not join us? He points at the dark pillar in the sky. See that? As long as we work together and reach it, we can destroy it and end all of this. We will be the heroes who saved hundreds of thousands of lives. Cole laughs on the inside. This guy is clever. He talks about unity, but the moment they face an Outlander, he will probably throw these teammates to the wolves as cannon fodder. Despite thinking this, Cole puts on an eager expression. Really? That's great. To be honest, before you arrived, I was looking for teammates too. We think alike. After all, strength in numbers and unity conquers all. A flicker of contempt passes deep in Gareth's eyes. He nods. Good, just follow my lead and do as I say. Nothing to be afraid of. But right then, another anomaly erupts ahead. The multicolored lights that had vanished earlier reappear, streaking upward into the sky like colossal rainbow serpents. There it is again! What the hell is that? Gareth stares at the spectacular, eerie sight, his expression shifting. They had seen this phenomenon on the way here and assumed it was over. They never expected it to return. And unlike before, this time the lights are accompanied by thunderous booms rolling toward them. Cole watches the scene ahead with a slight frown. He can faintly feel the ground trembling beneath his feet. There must be a fight over there. And if there's a fight, it is very likely between our people and the Outlanders. Let's go check it out. Gareth calls to the group, then charges ahead, leading the way. The others fall in behind him. Raven deliberately slows his pace and drops back to walk beside Cole at the rear. He leans in and speaks in a low voice. If I recall, your ability lets you fly, correct? Cole glances at him and nods. Seeing this, Raven checks that the others are far enough ahead, then speaks in a whisper only Cole can hear. My ability can conceal everything within 10 meters of me, and your ability lets you fly. If worst comes to worst, we can work together. Raven glances up at the sky. His meaning is crystal clear. When their lives are on the line, they can team up to escape. Cole looks at Raven with some surprise. There are this many of us, and Gareth is a second-order transcendent. Why would we need to think about running? Raven gives a bitter smile. You haven't been with HQ long, have you? The South China region has 3 directors, all 3 are second-order transcendents. Among them, Gareth is by far the most calculating. When there is no crisis, he might seem perfectly fine, but the moment his life is on the line, he is absolutely capable of abandoning us, or even using us as cannon fodder. Hearing this, Cole gives Raven a peculiar look. Seeing Cole's face, Raven sighs. Heh, you are probably wondering, if I know this guy can't be trusted, why am I still with him? The answer is simple. If I go alone and run into an Outlander creature, I am dead for sure. But with Gareth, there is still risk, but my odds of survival are higher. I want to complete this mission. I want to save the people trapped here, but above all, I want to live. Raven's logic is straightforward. He is looking for ways to improve his survival odds. Going alone is worse than teaming with Gareth, and partnering with Cole on top of that means their combined abilities push those odds even higher. Raven finishes and waits for Cole's answer. Cole puts on a thoughtful expression. After a moment he nods. Raven lets out an inner sigh of relief. A faint smile crosses his face. Good. Then it's settled. Raven picks up speed and pulls ahead, putting distance between them again. The group moves fast. On foot alone, their speed already far surpasses any vehicle on the road. As time passes, they draw closer and closer to the anomaly zone, and several hundred meters behind the group, a yellow shadow follows in their wake. Along the way, they pass countless ordinary people, but the vast majority have already lost consciousness, lying in the streets or slumped inside their cars. A few with stronger constitutions are still awake but deathly pale, too weak to even walk normally. They sit on the curb staring blankly as the group rushes past. The team presses forward. The black miasma inside the formation array is steadily destroying these people's bodies. If the source is not destroyed soon, the hundreds of thousands of civilians inside will all perish. It is only a matter of time. Gareth takes in the scene, his brow furrowed, urgency rising in his chest. Destroying the source of the Dark Pillar will end this. He knows that. But the source is guaranteed to be the most dangerous place of all. Who knows how many Outlander creatures are waiting there? That is why he keeps looking for more transcendents, wanting to amass enough firepower to pull this off. I hope there are second-order transcendents over there. Staring at the rapidly approaching zone, Gareth prays silently. Boom. Another explosion shakes the earth. The ground trembles with terrifying force. When Gareth's group arrives at the scene, they are instantly stunned by what lies below. It is an elementary school. Over 1,000 children fill the campus. On the playground, most of them have already lost consciousness. Only a few are still awake, huddled and crying. Teachers and parents kneel side by side, arms interlocked to form a human wall shielding the children behind them. Even though most of these adults have already blacked out completely, their knees are planted in the ground, and their arms locked together, keeping them upright even in unconsciousness. Outside the school gate, a massive green wall made of vines stands tall. This wall blocks the shockwaves from explosions and shields against all outside harm. In front of the wall, a young man in a t-shirt and jeans laughs wildly, flinging streaks of light with every wave of his hand. Ha ha ha! Let's see how long you can hold out. Countless bursts of multicolored light slam into the green wall. Some of the beams are deflected by a faint green glow on the wall's surface, shooting into the sky. Others ricochet into the ground, causing the earth to shake and roar. As long as I am alive, those children are under my protection. A weak but defiant voice calls out from behind the wall. As the voice fades, massive vines extend from behind the wall, lashing toward the attacker like giant spears. The vines are not fast enough, and the Outlander creature dodges them with ease. Boring. If you stopped protecting those insects behind you and fought me with everything, maybe we could actually have a real match. The Outlander dodges while taunting with a mocking laugh. Then suddenly, he turns around and spots Gareth's group standing in a row on a nearby rooftop. He lets out a vicious grin. Well, made too much noise and attracted some bugs, but that works out fine. Saves me the trouble of hunting them down. Let me squash these first, then I'll come back to play with you. The Outlander creature stops attacking the wall. The ground beneath his feet cracks open. Then he launches himself at Gareth like a cannonball. The instant the creature's gaze snaps toward them, Gareth's scalp goes numb. Quick, cover your ears! A weak, urgent voice cries out from behind the vine wall below. But Gareth does not even have time to process what it means. The Outlander creature is already in their faces in the blink of an eye. Everyone charge! Don't be afraid! Gareth screams at Cole and the others standing on either side, while he himself leaps upward and hurtles backward. Everything happens too fast. Two of them hear Gareth's rallying cry and instinctively charge the creature with their abilities. Raven and another man bolt in opposite directions, and Cole has already retreated before Gareth even shouted, ending up behind Gareth himself. Watching their scattered reactions, the ordinary-looking Outlander creature smirks with contempt. Then he opens his mouth and unleashes a horrifying screech. Gareth, mid-retreat, raises his hand to activate his ability, but the screech hits first. In that instant, his limbs and mind turn to stone. All of you die! Still mid-air, the serpent pendant in his hand erupts with blinding light. In the next instant, beams of light burst from the pendant and streak toward every target in range. No! Gareth watches in absolute horror. His mind screams, fully conscious, but his body has gone impossibly sluggish. He can only watch helplessly as a beam of purple light streaks toward his skull. The beam pierces straight through Gareth's head, shattering half his skull. Poor Gareth. He never imagined he would not even get a chance to use his ability before being killed so effortlessly. Several more wet, tearing impacts ring out. The Outlander creature scans the area. Then, with a flicker of surprise, he realizes one of them is still alive. Right in front of Cole, two people have been forced against their will to stand before him, serving as human shields. Raven is one of them. He turns his head and stares at Cole in utter disbelief. Just moments ago, when the Outlander creature charged, he and the other man were clearly running in opposite directions to escape. But then, their bodies moved against their will toward Cole, positioning themselves one behind the other in front of him. A beam of light pierces through the man in front, then punches through Raven's chest. What? Raven's eyes are filled with sheer disbelief. The Outlander creature sees Cole using his own comrades as meat shields. He bursts out laughing. Ha ha ha! You are way more interesting than the guy down there. Is that so? Cole says without a flicker of emotion. He kicks Raven's wide-eyed corpse aside. In the next instant, the Outlander creature feels a sudden chill run through his body. Then, against his will, he tosses the pendant straight to Cole. The creature's pupils contract sharply. A jet-black phantom spear erupts from beneath his feet and pierces straight through his throat. The young creature's eyes go wide. He looks down and opens his mouth. Blood gushes from his lips. Cole catches the pendant, doesn't spare the creature a single glance, and vanishes from the spot. He reappears at the base of the green vine wall. In the instant he vanishes, more phantom spears impale the Outlander creature's body. On the ground, Cole gazes at the vine wall before him, a complicated look crossing his eyes. Shen. In the future, this man reached the Sixth Order, a stubbornly righteous transcendent to the core. His final act was sacrificing himself to protect a city of 2 million people, taking 3 Outlander creatures of equal power down with him. And now, even though he is only at the Second Order, he is already willing to risk his life to protect a school full of children. As if sensing someone standing before him, Shen speaks in a weak voice. Looks like our side won. That's good. At the same time, the vine wall begins to shift slowly, and then a face with tightly shut eyes emerges from within. Your eyes? Cole looks at him and frowns. Gone. My Second Order ability is a bit unusual. Using it for too long cost me a part of myself. I didn't even know until today. Besides, if it means saving these children, what's a pair of eyes? Shen's words are carefree, carrying no trace of grief over losing his sight. Cole watches him silently for a moment, then turns and walks away without a sound. He does not kill Shen, nor does he choose to save him. The reason is simple. This man alive in the future is far more valuable than dead right now. Sensing Cole's departure, Shen does not question why he was left behind. He simply says 2 words, be careful. Some time passes. Shen's ability begins to fade, and he starts trying to free his body from the tangle of vines. Just then, footsteps approach. Another person arrives before him. A wave of freezing cold washes over him. Shen freezes in surprise, then speaks in disbelief. It's you! You're actually here! How could those old men possibly let you come? Then Shen laughs. I get it, you snuck in on your own, didn't you? After a moment of silence, a cool, clear girl's voice responds. Can your eyes recover? Shen nods, then shakes his head. I don't know. My ability is unusual. Maybe after my next breakthrough they might come back. Hearing this, the other person says nothing more, but Shen can feel the temperature around him plummeting. Hey, easy! Before Shen can finish, several slicing strikes cut through the air. He feels the vines around him, which had been slowly fading, shatter apart in rapid succession. The weapon in her hand fades away. Celine, her hood pulled low, turns to leave. Wait. Shen leans against the wall, his voice weak. Celine stops and turns to face him. Beneath the hood, her face is cold and beautiful. Her white hair is hidden under the hood. She wears a white skirt, her flawless legs perfectly proportioned. There is definitely more than one Outlander creature over there. You should wait for others. Go together when you have more people. Just now, I ran into a very powerful transcendent. Hearing his words, Celine simply lets out a soft, Then white, freezing light erupts from her body. She lifts off the ground and rockets toward the dark pillar. On a park bench. Master, let me see it, just for a moment. Goldie wags his tail furiously, circling Cole nonstop, his dog eyes burning with curiosity. Cole, who has been examining the serpent pendant, finally gets annoyed by Goldie's pestering, so he tosses the pendant to Goldie. With an excited yelp, Goldie clutches the pendant like a priceless treasure and begins studying it closely. He scratches it with his claws, nibbles on it, then gives it a sniff. All around them, the ground is covered with unconscious civilians. Looking at their faces, now slowly turning dark, Cole knows they have 1 day left at most. Titan. Celine. You had better hurry. Cole looks up at the dark pillar and murmurs to himself. Meanwhile, hey kid, let's team up. After all, strength in numbers. If you want to destroy that pillar and save everyone, your strength alone won't be enough. Reed smiles warmly at the young-looking boy before him. The boy, seeing Reed's friendly manner, nods and agrees. You're still in school? Through their conversation, Reed is shocked to discover that this boy named Kai became a transcendent purely by accident. He is just a student. Yeah, I'm a senior this year. By the way, are you really a transcendent from HQ? After chatting with Reed, Kai has warmed up to him considerably. Of course, I'm practically a veteran at HQ. Reed answers, his expression slightly strained. Really? Kai lights up with interest and starts bombarding Reed with questions about HQ. As Reed answers each one, the boy's face fills with deep longing. He clenches his fists with excitement. To be honest, Reed, I always thought I had turned into some kind of freak. Now I know we were actually chosen. When this is over, I am definitely joining HQ to fight these outlanders who are invading us and protect our homeland. Hearing the boy's words, Reed's expression wavers for a moment. He looks at the boy and speaks. But fighting outlander creatures is incredibly dangerous. Aren't you afraid of dying? The boy blinks in surprise. Why would I be afraid of dying? When danger comes, someone in this world always has to stand up and fight. Hasn't it always been that way? Besides, these outlanders don't even see us as human. If all of us who have power are too scared to die, what hope do the ordinary people have? Facing the boy's steady gaze, Reed instinctively takes a step back, unable to meet his eyes. Are you okay, Reed? The boy thinks Reed might be feeling unwell and reaches out to steady him, but Reed shakes off his hand and mutters under his breath. No, you're still young, you don't understand. The outlanders are terrifying, unstoppable. If you can live, why would you throw your life away? Kai does not quite understand Reed's words. He thinks he might have said something wrong. Scratching his head, he bows slightly. I'm sorry, Reed. I know nothing about transcendence and outlanders. Please don't be upset at what I said. Reed's breathing grows ragged. He forces himself to calm down and squeezes out a smile for the boy. It's nothing. Once you join HQ, you'll understand these things naturally. The boy nods firmly. The two of them set off together toward the dark pillar. Whether intentional or not, Reed falls one step behind Kai. Watching the spirited young boy ahead, Reed's right hand slowly rises, then drops again. His body trembles. His mind is torn apart by conflict. I'm not wrong. I just want to live. That's all I want. Even an ant clings to life. And I am a human being. But, isn't he just who I used to be? No, reality is not a fairy tale. You need to be alive to have ideals. Death leaves you with nothing. But a true man lives between heaven and earth. His death is either as heavy as a mountain, or as light as a feather. Bullshit! I am me! If I'm dead, where is my mountain? I need to be alive for it to mean anything. In the end, it's just death. A truth so simple even a child gets it. So why can't you understand it, Reed? Because I can't even die when I want to. How am I supposed to understand? Inside Reed's mind, two voices rage at each other, neither able to silence the other. But right then, Wraith's image flashes through Reed's mind. His smile. His methods. In just an instant, the other voice is crushed by sheer terror. What am I thinking? I have to finish my task. Only by completing it can I stay alive. Only then can I truly live. Only the living possess money, power, women, status, and even my family. With that thought, a ruthless glint crosses Reed's eyes as he stares at Kai's back. Don't blame me. Blame the outlanders. Blame them for all of this. Reed, should we? Kai starts to turn around, about to ask if they should pick up the pace. But behind him, Reed is staring at him with a savage, twisted expression. Before the boy can react, it is already too late. With a wet squelch, Reed's hand, sharp as a blade, punches straight through the boy's chest. Kai's eyes fly open. The boy's young face stares at Reed in utter disbelief. What? Why? Aren't you human? Aren't we on the same side? Reed does not answer. His eyes are filled with venom, his face twisted into something monstrous. It's not my fault. It's this goddamn world. You would have died at the Outlander's hands sooner or later anyway. Better to die by mine now. At least this way you help me survive. We are countrymen. You would help me, right? The boy glares at Reed through clenched teeth, blood pouring from his mouth. He struggles to extend his right arm. Light flickers across its surface, and a searing heat radiates from it, trying to unleash his ability against Reed. But the moment Reed's eyes fall on that arm, the boy's entire limb goes limp as cooked noodles and drops. A sneak attack from a second-order transcendent. How could the boy possibly fight that? Filled with burning resentment and hatred for Reed, the light in the boy's eyes slowly fades to nothing. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Reed pulls his hand free and frantically wipes it on the boy's clothes. His hand is coated in blood. He cannot bring himself to look at the dead boy on the ground. He just keeps his head down, repeating those three words. Ever since Wraith's plan began, Reed has been posing as an HQ transcendent to get close to others, then killing them from behind. The same teaming up excuse. The same HQ credentials. As one of the earliest members of HQ, Reed knew every detail of the organization inside and out, so no one ever doubted him. And because of this, in a short span of time, Reed killed over 20 transcendents. Not long ago, he even killed a second-order transcendent from HQ. But that second-order transcendent could not recognize Reed with his replaced head. He actually believed Reed was some special operative on a covert mission for HQ, which explained why he had never seen him before. So Reed effortlessly drove his hand through the man's heart from behind. Even more tragically, the man died believing Reed had been mind-controlled by outlander creatures lurking nearby. Not daring to look at the dead boy's face, Reed staggers to his feet and hurries away. He begins searching for his next target. Wraith gave him only one mission: assassinate transcendents. As many as possible. The more he kills, the more valuable he becomes. So Reed does not dare stop for even a second. He is terrified that his value will not be enough, that he will be sent back to that living hell of endless torture. The pain of having his soul impaled. He cannot bear to relive it even once. Finally, Reed spots another person. Another young-looking transcendent. Looks easy to trick. As Reed closes the distance, he also notices a yellow mutt walking beside the young man. Why would someone bring a dog in here? The thought crosses his mind, but Reed pays it no attention. This ordinary-looking stray is nothing. As a transcendent, a single kick would end the dog's life. Friend, wait up. Cole turns around, curious. Goldie glances back too. Running into you here must be fate. I'm a transcendent from HQ. We're getting closer to the Dark Pillar. Why don't we team up? After all, strength in numbers. Reed walks up to Cole with a warm smile. Cole sizes him up, about to say something. But right at that moment, the sky erupts. A colossal roar tears through the heavens. The sound makes both Cole and Reed look up. Goldie lifts his head instinctively. When Reed sees what is happening above, his pupils contract sharply. A dazzling green-gold light streaks across the gray sky like a comet, and wherever it passes, the gray miasma scatters like a flock fleeing a wolf. The sky is torn open by a long, blazing trail, which is quickly swallowed again by the fog. Titan, you finally made it, Cole murmurs silently to himself. Beside him, Reed stares skyward and whispers, a third-order transcendent. Beneath the Dark Pillar, the stench of blood hangs thick in the air. Mangled bodies litter the ground in every direction, some civilian, some the earliest transcendents to arrive. Wraith, sitting on the steps flipping his coin, watches the approaching light in the sky. A smile crosses his cold face. Not bad, we actually hooked a big fish this time. Beside him, Vixen yawns and watches the sky with amusement. Elder Chen, meditating at the base of the tower to stabilize the formation array, opens his eyes slightly. He glances at the sky and lets out a cold grunt. All show and no substance. Hearing Reed's murmur, Cole gives him an interested look. You know about third-order transcendence? Reed manages a bitter smile. I've been with HQ for a long time. How could I not know? Based on the power rankings, no second-order transcendent could create a display like that. So that person must be third order. Anyway, now that a third order is here, let's hurry to the battlefield. Reed has already made up his mind. After killing this transcendent, he will find a place to hide and wait for everything to end. He has already done more than enough. Yeah, I need to get to the battlefield too. Shouldn't that be we? Reed catches the strange phrasing and feels a prick of unease. But when he sees the eerie smile on Cole's face, his instincts scream danger. The next instant, everything goes black. Then his body is shredded into mincemeat by invisible shadows. When it comes to killing transcendents below the third order, Cole is very experienced. Effortless even. Transcendents below the third order rely on their eyes and physical movements to activate their abilities. As long as Cole is fast enough, they never even get a chance to use their powers. Goldie looks at what remains of Reed and shakes his head. All he can say is, this guy had the worst luck. Of all the people to team up with, he picked Cole. After all, Cole was already planning for every transcendent here to die in as large numbers as possible. This guy walked right up to Cole on his own. If that isn't asking for death, what is? But right then, from the pile of minced flesh, a cloud of mist suddenly rises and rockets toward the Dark Pillar like a bolt of lightning. Cole's pupils contract the instant he sees it. His reflexes move faster than thought. The shadows already swirling around him instantly form a massive net, ensnaring the mist and tearing it apart. In the instant the mist dissipates, a faint, agonized scream echoes from within. Goldie finally snaps back to his senses. He stares at where the mist vanished and yelps in shock. What the hell was that? Cole gazes at the spot with narrowed eyes. Soul severance. So, he was a transcendent working for the Outlanders. Soul severance? What is that? Goldie asks, confused. Cole glances down at him and explains. Soul severance is a special technique the Outlanders use. Think of it like the soul leaving the body. Using this method, the Outlanders can separate a transcendent's head from his body. They attach an ordinary person's head onto the transcendent's original body, then place the transcendent's soul inside. This way, they control the original head to keep the transcendent in line, and he has no choice but to obey and do their bidding. They can actually do something like that? Goldie stares at the remains on the ground in disbelief. He mutters, well, that's a first. Color me shocked. Just then, something clicks in Goldie's mind. A chill runs through him. He stammers. So by that logic, if this guy was working for the Outlanders, then his reason for approaching you was... Cole looks at Reed's remains and speaks calmly. What else could it be? 90% chance he was going to stab me in the back. Given how well he knew HQ, he must be the one who sold out headquarters. The second-order transcendent, Reed. Goldie swallows hard. Then he mutters under his breath. A small-time crook just ran into the king of crooks. Cole shoots Goldie a look. The dog shuts his mouth immediately. Beneath the Dark Pillar, Wraith stands. He watches the green-gold light closing in and throws his head back with a booming laugh. His voice rolls across the sky like thunder. Ha ha ha! If I'm not mistaken, you must be Titan. Too bad that old fossil Elder Quinn didn't show. I set all of this up especially for him. High above, the green-gold light halts several hundred meters from the pillar. The glow gradually fades, revealing the man within for all to see. A middle-aged man around his mid-40s. A square jaw. Simple clothes. A pair of weathered, battle-worn eyes looking down at Wraith. Titan's gaze lingers on Wraith for a moment, then sweeps across the carnage surrounding him. Bodies everywhere. Blood soaking into the earth. Just looking at it makes Titan clench his fists. These people were someone's parents. Someone's children. Someone's family. Demons reign. What a catastrophe. Those 8 words echo through his heart. Titan moves. He raises his right hand, palm aimed at Ju Tower, the source of the Dark Pillar below. His left hand faces downward toward the ground. A deep hum resonates as rings of light appear in both palms. The earth beneath Titan begins to tremble. Then streams of earth and energy surge upward, flooding into his left hand. Meanwhile, the light circle in his right hand, aimed at the tower, grows ever brighter. Seeing this, Wraith's grin does not waver. He makes no move to stop it. In fact, he looks excited. Titan ignores Wraith completely. Right now, he has one single goal: destroy the Dark Pillar and get the civilians out of danger first. The light in his right palm intensifies, growing bright enough to banish the darkness from the sky around him. Thousands of meters from the battlefield, On a rooftop, gazing at Titan who blazes like a star, Goldie stares slack-jawed and whispers, "So this is what a third-order transcendent can do? Absolutely terrifying." Cole stands at the edge of the rooftop watching Titan with calm, steady eyes. He speaks slowly. Once a transcendent steps into the third order, their physical speed, danger perception, and the terrifying abilities they unlock are far beyond anything you can imagine. As Cole's words trail off, that blazing star in the distant sky moves. Like a meteor, Titan hurtles straight at Ju Tower. Just as Goldie is certain this strike will destroy the Dark Pillar, the next scene makes his eyes go wide. A brilliant blue light ignites directly in front of the pillar. Then, a blue shield blooms open like a flower, instantly blocking the pillar's front. Boom! The meteor slams into the blue shield. A blinding flash erupts, a deafening blast follows, then a violent gust of wind sweeps toward Cole and Goldie. But directly in front of Cole, an invisible wall blocks the shockwave entirely. On the battlefield, behind Wraith, a small, ancient-looking bell the size of a baby's fist hovers in the air. Blue light ripples from its surface, flowing upward like droplets of water and forming a massive shield. "Useless, Titan! Is this all your third-order power amounts to? You couldn't even crack the shield." Wraith even turns around, picks up the floating bell, and waves it at Titan in the sky. He smirks. "Since you can't get past me to destroy the formation core directly, then I suggest you figure out how to deal with me first. After all, kill me and you can take this bell. Then you can destroy the formation array and save everyone here." Wraith releases the bell, letting it float on its own. He looks up at Titan and beckons him with a curled finger. Titan stares back, his eyes burning with murderous intent. "You slaughtered my people. You destroyed my homeland. Today I will kill you." His entire body erupts with blinding light as he dives straight at Wraith. "Bring it!" Wraith snarls with a savage grin. He charges forward to meet him. Gray mist ripples across his body, and in an instant he transforms into a jet-black creature, ink-dark from head to toe, with 3 tentacles sprouting from his back. Boom! In the next instant, the ground beneath Wraith caves in, and he rockets upward, crashing into Titan head-on. At the same time, more and more Transcendents arrive at the battlefield. They all watch in disbelief at the clash between Titan and Wraith. The two fighters move at impossible speed. Every punch, every kick is a blur. Deafening shockwaves ring out without pause. Flashes of light burst from the point of impact, their force leveling every building around them to rubble. Haven't seen Wraith this fired up in a long time. On the steps below the pillar, Vixen, watching the fight with her daring outfit on full display, runs her tongue across her red lips. "Honestly, the humans on this planet have surprised me. They grow strong remarkably fast." Behind her, Elder Chen, meditating at the base of the pillar, lets out a cold laugh. "Just insects trapped in a cage. What does it matter how fast they grow? They all die sooner or later. Now, if you are bored, go kill those spectating Transcendents. Then help the young master finish this fight quickly. For some reason, I have a bad feeling." Vixen looks at the Elder with a hint of surprise. "What do you mean?" Elder Chen looks at her and speaks slowly. "The formation array won't hold much longer. If I leave the formation core now, the array will collapse within 10 minutes. And haven't you noticed? The ones we invited still haven't returned." Vixen freezes. Then her brow furrows. True. With all this commotion, they couldn't have missed it. Besides, they agreed to regroup here at the end. And now, a human third-order Transcendent has attacked, and not a single one of them has shown up. "Fine, I'll kill these people first, then help Wraith take out this third-order Transcendent." With that, Vixen draws 2 daggers from her waist. With a light tap of her feet, she blurs into a streak and rockets toward the gathered Transcendents. At the same time, in a park dozens of kilometers from the battlefield, a fight has just ended. The air is thick with biting cold. The ground all around is coated in a thick layer of ice. A human-shaped ice sculpture stands frozen in place, its body leaning forward. The creature trapped inside has a face twisted in rage, its eyes burning with defiance and resentment. Before the ice sculpture, Celine lifts her gaze to the dark pillar, a flicker of worry crossing her eyes. "Titan, hold on, I'm almost done here." With that, she transforms into a streak of white light and shoots into the sky. Not long ago, when Celine was heading straight for the dark pillar, Titan caught up and stopped her. "Celine, on my way here I passed more than 5 active battlefields. In every one of them our people were fighting Outlander creatures. According to Professor Yang, every moment the Dark Pillar stands, the hundreds of thousands of civilians here move closer to death. I need to deal with the pillar as fast as possible. I don't have time to handle each Outlander creature. Among the younger generation, you are the strongest. Only you can eliminate these Outlander creatures at the speed we need. So this task falls to you." Celine listened in silence, paused for a moment, then agreed. On the rooftop, watching the Transcendents below being slaughtered one-sidedly by Vixen, Cole shakes his head silently. The ignorant fear nothing. These low-ranked Transcendents arrived here with no idea what they were about to face. Perhaps they imagined there would be a fight, but they never dreamed the gap in power would be this overwhelming. Transcendents who have never faced death always believe they are special. That is the universal disease of ordinary people who suddenly gain power, and the battlefield proves it. Vixen reaps lives like the Grim Reaper herself. Her movements are ghostly, her twin blades slitting Transcendent throats as easily as tearing tissue paper. Transcendents with special abilities can dodge once or twice. But the civilian Transcendents who came to help die without ever knowing what hit them. They see a flash before their eyes, and then blood begins spraying from their throats. Soon, after nearly half of them are dead, the inevitable panic and stampede begins. But Vixen is impossibly fast. With their backs turned, she kills them even faster. "Stop!" Finally, Titan intervenes. He spins and fires a ball of light from his palm straight at Vixen. The blast forces her to dodge, saving the Transcendent who was white as a ghost with terror from her blade. But that opening cost Titan dearly. One of Wraith's tentacles slams into his chest. With a grunt, Titan, his chest now slightly caved in, wheels around and charges at Vixen, trying to pin her down and buy the low-rank Transcendence time to escape. So responsible! Vixen watches this and can't help licking her lips. She abandons the fleeing Transcendence and turns to charge Titan instead. Watch yourself. This guy's ability is unusual. He seems to be able to convert the force used against him. Wraith calls out while trading a fierce blow with Titan. It feels like punching his own reflection. Vixen twists sideways, dodging Titan's whip kick. Her blade thrusts hard at Titan's throat, but a flash of light erupts from Titan's left hand. Her dagger hits what feels like solid rock, barely nicking the skin on his neck. Up on the rooftop, watching the three-way battle rage, Cole falls deep into thought. So that's how it works. Judging by Titan's techniques, his ability must involve absorption conversion. A battle at this level. Beside him, Goldie has long since gone slack-jawed. He has zero doubt that if he charged into that fight, he would be killed in a heartbeat. On the battlefield, Wraith watches Titan hold his own against both of them without losing ground. A dark fury ignites inside him. Insect! I admit I underestimated you. Wraith trades several brutal punches with Titan. Then one of the tentacles on his back suddenly stretches hundreds of meters backward, sweeping toward a nearby sports arena. Boom! The arena, large enough to hold over 1,000 people, is sliced clean in half by the tentacle. Its entire roof is sheared off. At the same time, the smooth tip of the tentacle sprouts countless tiny branches that flood into the arena like tendrils. In the blink of an eye, the countless branches retract, and wrapped in those tentacles, pulled back along with them, are hundreds of people. Titan, you love saving people, don't you? Let's see if you save these ones. Wraith lets out a vicious laugh and uses his tentacles to hurl all several hundred unconscious people into the sky. Titan sees this, and his pupils shrink, because among those plummeting from the sky, hurtling toward the hard ground below, many of them are just children. You monster! Titan roars. Wraith sees his reaction and bursts into laughter. Ha ha ha! If you don't hurry and save them, they're going to splatter on the ground. Vixen watches this unfold and her eyes light up. Brilliant move! In her mind, the moment Titan uses his ability to save those civilians falling from hundreds of meters, he will inevitably have a brief window of vulnerability where he cannot use his absorption conversion to protect himself, just like when he saved that low-rank Transcendent moments ago. Watching the people scatter and plummet toward the unforgiving ground, Titan's eyes turn blood red. Just as he is about to,